Stand up, New York Giant fans. I am super excited. Got a couple of YouTubers on. Also got one of my best subscribers, Harrison Jolly. He's been on the channel before. We may even have Antonis, who's been on this before as well when I was doing the subscriber stream. So we're kind of waiting for him to pop in too. We got some stuff to talk about. We had some football today, guys. We'll go around the panel. We'll start with David. David from Giants Alliance. I've had him on the channel before. He's got a great Giants channel, very knowledgeable. We'll jump into the Giants. We'll jump into the Skins, or the football team, I should say. The Cowboys, they just gave up a touchdown. What's better than that? But Dave, man, what's going on? Thank you for popping on the stream, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot for having me on. I'm so excited. Football's finally back. It's a really good day for the Giants. The Eagles lost. The Cowboys are down 7-0. I know this game just started. But I'm actually feeling kind of optimistic for tomorrow's game. And, I think the Giants have a good chance tomorrow. Ben Roethlisberger is usually a slow starter, and he didn't play basically all of last season. You know, the Giants, I feel like a lot of good things happened this offseason, despite, some of the bad arrests and things like that. But I'm just feeling optimistic about tomorrow, man. I can't wait for the game.
I just can't wait to get started, 100%. We're going to go to Harrison. What's going on there? Everybody, last time Harrison was on, everybody said you looked like Daniel Jones.
Yep, and it's already going strong already.
What's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? Thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited again. What's up to everybody in the chat, NY Giant Zone? I see Odell Beckham 13, who did really good at catching the ball today, saying up in the chat. So what's up, everyone? But yeah, I'm super excited for the season and Monday Night Football. Well, Tuesday morning football for us over here. Can't get here soon enough.
Yeah, if you guys can't tell, he lives in New Zealand. It looks like the sun just came out over there. But
it's like a one sunny day of the year. I live in like the Antarctica of New Zealand, and Dunedin. It's just straight cold every day. So
what's going on? What's going on, Big Blue Jabroni, man? Thanks for popping on to the channel, my man.
And thanks for having me on, man. It's 7-0 start. Good start. Let's go Rams.
Let's go Rams is right, my man. And we're going to talk to the chat for a bit. We're going to take some of your guys' questions. We're going to talk about the game tomorrow. We'll talk about everything that happened today. We're definitely going to talk about the Washington team's pass rush and what they demonstrated against the Philadelphia Eagles, because that was scary. But one thing I will say, the Eagles had, we were talking about before we went live. Driscoll was in there. He got hurt. They were down to a third string right tackle or left tackle, whatever position he was playing. And, you have to take into account that they were going up against a very subpar offensive line. But the Washington team's pass rush looked scary today. I think they came up with 7 sacks. Chase Young had a sack and a half, a forced fumble. They look brutal, and that's going to be a test when we go up against that team this year. That's definitely the strength of that team. What's going on, Raphael? What's going on, Word? What's going on, Real Ship? What's going on, Dritton? Real people in the house. Lake Nona in here. Johnny T. What's going on, my man? New York Giants Zone in here. Stream's lagging a bit. Nona, I can't do anything about that. I know it's been doing that lately. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. I don't know if it's YouTube. I don't know if it's StreamYard. Can't do anything about it. What's going on, Rock and Rob? What's going on, KP? Thanks for popping the stream. Next week is going to be a great game against the Cards. Yeah, the Cardinals are versing I'm just going to call them the Skins. The Cardinals are versing the Skins next week, and it should be a good game. Both teams coming off big upsets. Let's start there, guys. Let's start with that game. Obviously, from a New York Giants fan's perspective, as Dak goes down for a sack, we love to see that. From a New York Giants fan's perspective, you had to be thrilled that the Eagles lost, but at the same time, what did you think of that Washington pass rush today? We'll start with David.
Yeah, man, it's hard to tell if it's that the Washington Redskins pass rush is so good or the Eagles offensive line is that bad. And until the Eagles are able to get Lane Johnson back at right tackle, they could have a big issue on their offensive line. Obviously, they lost Brandon Brooks to a torn Achilles earlier this offseason. And I thought that was a big injury for them. Jason Peters was supposed to play guard, and now he's playing left tackle. And their backup right tackle was hurt, so they had to put in a former 7th-round pick. I think it was like a former rugby player at right tackle. So I do think the Redskins' defensive line can be really good, though. And you saw last year how much of a difference Bosa made for the 49ers. Like, having that premier pass rusher just changes everything for a defense. And Chase Young, he's going to make that entire defensive line so much better. You still have Kerrigan over there. They have Jonathan Allen, who's a good defensive tackle. But yeah, I think the Redskins are going to be better than I originally thought. But at the same time, it is the first week, so I don't foresee them having a better season than the Eagles, but I think the Eagles might be a little worse than I originally thought.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, man. Going into this game, I thought that the Skins had a really good chance to come out with a win. I almost picked them in my picks. I said 17-14 Eagles, but I thought it would be really close due to their banged-up offensive line. And Wentz's fumbling problems, you saw it today. He fumbled twice. I don't think – he lost one, I think. I don't think he lost the other, but I think they're going to have problems as long as that offensive line is banged up. But I was definitely impressed with the pass rush of the Skins, no doubt about it. Andrew Thomas, man, thanks for love. I appreciate it. He says if the Giants go 2-0 and we sweep the Skins and go 2, all right. So you're saying we start 2-0, we sweep the Skins, go 2-2 versus the Cowboys and Eagles. I mean, you didn't finish your question there, but I'm assuming you think we're going to make the playoffs. But I mean, if we were to do that, you'd be 4-2 in the division. You're 6-2 with the start to the year. So yeah, I would say at that point, if we win our first 2 games, go 4-2 in division, you probably only got to win 2 more games out of the rest of your schedule to make the playoffs. 8 wins when 7 teams make the playoffs at least gives you an opportunity for a tiebreaker. So, yes, I would think 8 wins and 4 wins in division with how poor this division looks right now. We'll see how the Cowboys look tonight, but 9 wins has a good chance to win this division. We'll see how the Cowboys play this year. But the Eagles, to me, they don't scare the hell out of me. The Skins, Haskins didn't look that good. I know Washington fans were saying it after the game. Threw for 170 yards. He made a couple of plays when he needed to. The defense carried them, but they did it against the poor offensive line. So I got to see more from both of those teams, see if the Eagles can rebound, see if the Skins are legit when they start going up against a team that's healthy, like the Cardinals next week. But, yeah, if we were to do that, absolutely. Can we do that? Well, we'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow. But, Harrison, we'll jump into you. What did you think of the game today with the Washington game today?
Yeah, man. Well, the game was at 5 a.m. here, so I was sort of in bed, sort of woke up. I was going to catch the 8 o'clock games, woke up at about 7 or something like that. Saw the Eagles were up 17-0, and I was like, yep, that's what I expected. Went back to sleep, woke back up, and then holy moly, 27-17. And I was like, okay, something had to have happened. Had a look, and it was just that Washington defensive line. Like, Wentz was just getting killed. I think he was sacked 8 times, was it?
Yeah, I think it was 8.
And yeah, it was insane. And I was like, well, it's okay. You know, the Eagles, they took that receiver in the second round. Oh, wait, they took Jalen Hurts in the second round. Unlucky you guys. So they had no answer for that offensive line. They had no receivers to throw it to. I'd be scared if I was Carson Wentz because he already gets injured a lot. We know this. So with an offensive line that's just getting you killed against, well, a very good Washington defensive line, but if they go 27 unanswered on you, that's not a good sign for the Eagles.
No, not at all. Not at all. What about you, Jabroni? What were your takes from this game today, between the Skins game?
Chase Young looks like the real deal, so that was a little scary to see. But I still don't think that they don't have the quarterback figured out. I don't think Haskins all that great. And I think Ron Rivera did a great job of having those guys prepared. And I think he might actually get this culture turned around, unfortunately. So they did look better than I thought, but with no quarterback, you're still not going to really go anywhere. And I thought Haskins just showed more of why we were doubting him last year.
Yeah, like I said, Haskins made a few plays when they needed to be made, but he wasn't overly impressive to me. Gibson was pretty good, the running back. He made a couple nifty moves in the backfield. But overall, the Skins offense was about what I expected, but their defense was really good. And we'll see if that translates into week 2. But at least they put the NFC East on notice, that's for sure, with a win against the Philadelphia Eagles. And like you said, overcoming that 17-point deficit, that's pretty impressive for a young team like that with a young quarterback with Haskins. So I'm sure that's going to give them some momentum going into next week. The other thing I wanted to talk about was our week 2 opponent, and I'm not looking past this week. We're going to get into this week. But the Lions had that game sewn up, and I look like a fool. I've been talking up the Lions. They're up 23-7 or whatever it was. I thought the game was over. And then the Bears come all the way back. And Trubisky, I think he threw 3 touchdowns today. It might have been. He made a couple of great throws down the stretch. The Bears come all the way back from that huge deficit, and they're going to carry some momentum now into week 2. And we all know that's a good defense, and that offense came out. They bowled out. Chicago's going to be motivated going into that week 2 matchup against the New York Giants after they come back in Detroit down whatever they were down, and they get a win in the last minutes.
Yeah, a lot of people assume that the Bears game is kind of like a shoe-in win for us. We are 6-point underdogs. I think a lot of Giants fans might assume that we're going to win that game, but I think it's going to be tough. We lost to them last year, obviously. Trubisky had over 300 yards passing against us, and yeah, like the game today, there was a pass with like 5 seconds left, right in DeAndre Swift's hands, and Matt Stafford threw a
Oh
perfect
yeah.
pass. So the Lions should have won that game, but I think you're right. I think the winning that game the way they did, the momentum should carry over to the next week, which is not good for the Giants. But at the same time, I do think it's a winnable game for us. I don't think Trubisky is going to do as well against us as he did last year. Last year, if you remember, we had Corey Ballantyne in the slot against Allen Robinson.
Yep.
Oh,
This
yeah.
year, we have somebody like Logan Ryan, who is good against those big physical receivers like Allen Robinson, who specializes playing in the slot. So I do think our defense matches up better than last year, obviously. And I think the offense is going to be better too. Like with the offensive line, that's going to be the key. The player I'm most intrigued to see tomorrow is going to be Andrew Thomas. I just want to see how well he does against Bud Dupree, who's one of the best pass rushers at his position. So, you know, he's going to be one of the keys to the season. I think if the Giants could improve on their offensive line, I think our offense has a chance to be pretty explosive.
I agree. I've said it all season. I think if this offensive line could be league average or close to league average, and I don't know if they're going to be right out of the gate because you got 3 new offensive linemen, but if we could get to that point at some point in the year, I do think we have the weapons capable of being at least a league average offense. I think even slightly better. You have a tight end that's a big mismatch. You got the most talented running back in the sport, and you got 3 decent wide receivers. So there's no reason to think if the offensive line doesn't perform, and Daniel Jones, of course, takes a step forward, that this offense can't be at least approaching the top 10. But the offensive line is going to be a major piece this whole year. You hit it right on the head. Andrew Thomas is huge for this football team. We need him to be worthy of that number 4 overall pick, and it starts tomorrow against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I think he will be. A really interesting stat I read recently is he hasn't given up more than 2 pressures since 2017 when he started as a true freshman for Georgia at right tackle. So I think he's going to be a lot better than like Eric Flowers or Bobby Hart, those terrible offensive tackles we've had in the recent past. I do think they're going to give him some help at the same time. One thing I do remember about Jason Garrett's Dallas offenses was he would use a lot of max protection. I do think, especially against the Steelers, they're going to have to do that. And the Bears pass rush is also very good. We play San Francisco week 3. The Rams week 4, all these teams, we're going to have to help out our tackles. I think Cameron Fleming, I'm actually just as worried about because I don't know if I consider him starter caliber. I think he's more of a swing tackle, but I think if we give help to those guys, if we use some rollouts, if we're creative with the way we use Saquon, we can try to minimize the inexperience we have on the offensive line.
I think you should be more worried about Cam Fleming. Cam Fleming is a swing tackle for a reason. I just want to go a quick glance over here to this Rams game. Looks like the Rams are approaching deep in Cowboys territory again. They just got a first down there at the 39-yard line. They're up 7-0. Look at how great of a start to the year would this be, Harrison, if the Rams get out of here with a win. Well, not get out. They're home, but they get a win against the Dallas Cowboys, a game that most Cowboys fans definitely when the year started, because everybody was down on the Rams. They all had this penciled in as a win. And so did the Eagles with the Skins, if we're being real. Before the year started, they both said we're 1-0. And they both start out 0-1. We go into tomorrow. We got nothing to lose. And if we win that game, you get off to a nice 1-0 start. And we do have a winnable game against the Chicago Bears on deck. So it starts to build some momentum for the New York Giants if we get a win tomorrow. But, yeah, man, what do you think of it? What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, if we can come out of Monday night with a win, that would be huge. I mean, it's not going to be easy, obviously, with a defense that's ranked, among the mid-league's best with all those fancy stats that escape my mind right now. But
number 1 in turnovers, 38 turnovers, 18 fumbles forced, which led the league. They were 5th in yards against. They were 5th in points against. They were top 5 in everything. They were 3rd best in yards per carry against at 3.8. They're a legit defense. They're very good.
Yeah, I think they were 4th or 6th in QBR as well, or something like that. But it's crazy. Like especially with I'm really like David said with the offensive line. Cam Fleming, I'm slightly terrified of because we brought him in as a swing tackle, and then when Solder opted out, and we really didn't have much option but to start him because Parrott, while he looked pretty damn good in the training camp, we can't start him yet. He's just not ready. So it's going to be scary. At least it's not Solder, I guess, is the one positive. But hopefully, if we can come out of week 1 with a W, that would be insane. I'm not counting on it. But if Washington was 1-0 and us, the Eagles and the Cowboys were 0-1, I wouldn't be too stressed going against the Bears week 2 because they were supposed to win that game. Because I turned on the TV, first play I saw was DeAndre Swift drop that wide open ball, and I was just like, how do you drop that? And I couldn't really believe it. So hopefully, come week 2, it's going to be a hard game because their defense. Chicago is solid as well. They have a guy, Khalil Mack, who's
he's a beast.
So it's going to be it's no easy game really in any NFL game really. But the first 4 weeks, we've got the Steelers, the Bears, the 49ers defense, and then of course week 4 we get to play these guys with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. So it's not going to be easy. But if we can get out to a 1-0 start, that would be huge for the start of the season, going in with some momentum week 2 against a Bears team that should have lost.
Yeah, if we get out to a 2-0 start, everybody's mindset changes, and everybody in here that's a pessimistic Giant fan, they may not admit it, but if you start 2-0, percentages are in your favor that you're going to the playoffs, especially with an extra team making the postseason. But Jabroni, give me your thoughts on tomorrow's game, and I guess kind of talking about the offensive line, talking about Fleming. That's obviously a big weakness, but what do you think about tomorrow's game?
I think the key to victory is going to be getting Saquon Barkley at least 30 touches. I don't know exactly how we got to do it. If it's 20 through the air, or if it's 20 on the ground, 10 in the air, or 25 and 5, or whatever it is. Because to slow down a great pass rush, run the ball at him, weaken him down, slow him down a little bit. Especially Andrew Thomas. Going into it, he was the number 1 rush graded left tackle, and that's exactly what we want to do as this team and move forward. So I think that's going to be a big part of it, and being able to just convert on third down. Like you're watching this Dallas game right now, they cannot get off the field on third down, and they are getting dominated. And this is the type of offense we're going to have to run if we're going to want to have success.
Yeah, great. And last year we were horrible in third down conversions, the New York Giants, and it's why we had such 5.6 yard plays per drive. Because we couldn't convert on third downs, we couldn't extend plays, and on the defensive side, we were as bad as it gets in terms of getting them off the field on third down. 3rd and 12s, it didn't matter. They could be 3rd and 50, they were picking up the first down, and that can't happen. That'll wear down the defense very quickly.
I also do like that the Bears aren't going to be looking for their first win of the season against us. If they would have had that comeback at the end, and then and if Swift catches that ball, and you're like, okay, now we have to come out next week and win. Like we had that game and we blew it. That maybe you relax a little bit, you start puffing your chest out, maybe you think you're a little bit better than they were. Because I don't think the Bears played particularly all that great. I think Matt Patricia kind of blew that game with some bad play calls and just some sloppy play at the end of that game. So that's at least one thing. They're going to give us all the handful they can. We lost to them last year. We played them tough the year before. But, yeah, I am happy to see that they won and then hopefully ease up a little bit. And they're not going to go in there desperate for the first win.
That's a good way to look at it. That's definitely an optimistic way to look at it. I guess I was looking at it pessimistically by saying that they're going to come in hot now with momentum, but you could look at it that way. They already got a win under their belt. They're not, they're not desperate to get their first win. So maybe it'll work in the Giants.
I think Mitch Trubisky's all that great of a quarterback now. All of a sudden, we see a lot of plays thrown up for him.
And Marcus, man, thanks for love. I appreciate it. He says, I don't think we're going to sweep Washington this year. Chase Young and the D-line looked terrifying versus the Eagles today, 8 sacks. Listen, man. The defensive line, we knew going in that the defensive line was going to be good. They drafted Montez Sweat last year in the first round. I think he had what, guys? What do you have, 6, 7, 8 sacks in his rookie year?
Something like that.
I think he had a decent rookie year, and he's talented, no doubt about it. I wanted the Giants to take him at 17. Obviously, I'm very happy with who we got with Dexter Lawrence, but we knew they already had him. You got Kerrigan still on that team, and, of course, you had Chase Young. And the edge rusher position is the easiest to translate from college to the pros. I say it all the time. Josh Allen had 10 sacks his rookie year. You saw what Bosa did. Was a big part for why the 49ers got to the Super Bowl last year. So I knew he was going to be successful coming in, that it was going to be a much better pass rush coming into the year. But like we said earlier, I need to see more of it before I fully buy into that defense, because I'm not trying to knock the Eagles here, even though I like to whenever I can. But the Eagles, the offensive line is complete trash. I mean, it just is. I mean, like you said, they had a rugby player playing tackle. I mean, the Eagles' offensive line is horrible. And last year, the Eagles got by with really bad receivers. Like Greg Ward was their number one. But the reason they were able to get by with those crappy receivers is because they had one of the best offensive lines in the league. Now you're missing half your offensive line. You got a quarterback that has injury history. He's got fumbling problems. You saw it today. He put 2 balls on the ground. I think the Eagles are. I took this game today, guys. Is the Eagles to me are more in trouble than the Redskins are for real. That's the way I took it until such time that the Eagles get healthy.
Yeah, and this game shows me how bad that second-round pick of picking Jalen Hurts really was, because you have to help your quarterback. If Carson Wentz, he could have been MVP in 2017 if he doesn't tear his ACL, and they go on to win the Super Bowl anyway. But they need to get more help for him. And I know they picked Jalen Reagor at the end of the first round, and he had like a nice play today, like a 50-yard catch. But they need more weapons on offense. I think Miles Sanders not playing today really hurt them. But yeah, they don't have receivers that really put the fear of God into any defenses. So I do think they need more help for Carson Wentz. And like you said, without that great offensive line, which they've had for the last couple of years, I just don't see how they can, score enough points, because I don't think their defense is that great either. They do have a decent front seven, but they have a lot of trouble in the secondary. I don't know why, but they released some of their pretty good cornerbacks. So, I
wanted the Giants to take a look at those guys. I wanted the Giants to take a look at those guys that they dropped.
Yeah, and Malcolm Jenkins, one of the their best safeties the last couple of years, somebody that's really hurt the Giants, is now playing for the Saints. So I was really impressed with the Saints. I think the Saints are going to be the class of the NFC today, or this year, I mean. But yeah, I'm not as scared about the Eagles. I thought last year the NFC East was the worst division in the conference, and I think it might be the case again with the way the Cowboys are looking so far and the Eagles. I don't think it's a great division, which should give us a little bit of hope that if we can get to around 500, we should be in it at least. Going into the.
That's all I'm asking for, man. Get me to December with a chance.
Exactly.
The Yankees have lasted longer than us the last 2 years, and it's the last 3 years, and it's not acceptable. Get me to December, hover around 500, and let's let the chips fall where they may. That's the way I look at it. I know we got a really tough schedule the last 4 weeks, but we play like the Ravens, the Seahawks, the Cowboys,
yeah.
but just give me a chance. Give me competitive football down the stretch. That's all I'm hoping for now this year. And if we get maybe the ball bounces our way.
Exactly. Like we have every year, it's just by the mid sort of the season, we're always talking about the draft every single time. And I just want to have a year where we're slightly competitive. I know we're going to in a few years, but this year I feel like if we can just secure some of these games where it's not an easy win by any means, but if we can just take a few wins, then against like the Bears, if we could steal one against the Steelers, no pun intended, then we can be contending by the end of the year. Not saying we'll make the playoffs, but it's just I'm tired of being like 1-7 or 2-6 by the midpoint. I just want to see some competitive football. If we just run the ball effectively with this new offense, open up the pass. I mean, there's no telling what can happen. So it's football. Anything can happen. So hopefully that we can be competitive before the year's end.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask Jabroni, outside of our division today, specifically, I guess around the league, which teams outside of the Skins, which teams surprised you the most? Which teams do you think made the biggest statement today? David brought up the Saints, and I agree with him. I'm not that surprised by the Saints. I think they have the best 53-man roster outside of maybe the Ravens. Their squad is ridiculous, top to bottom. The offensive line is great, but the way that they beat the Bucs, they handled them pretty easily. I have them going to the Super Bowl. I had them going to the Super Bowl before the year started, so I'm going to stick with that pick. But who impressed you today, Big Blue? Out, maybe a team we haven't talked about yet.
I didn't watch any of this game because who would? But obviously the Jaguars were the big surprise. They were the biggest dog of the week. They've gotten rid of everyone with any sort of talent. And Minshew, who I was bashing all offseason saying this guy's overrated and he's just a placeholder, he balled out today, and they played really good. I'm not crazy about Rivers and the Colts. I don't think they're like going to be world beaters or whatever for it. But for a team that was projected to win like 2 games this year, for you to come out in week 1 and with a real competitive team, a team that's bought in for all in this year, and to win, that was impressive.
I completely agree. I thought the Colts were going to run away with that game. I was looking at my picks. I'm like, I'm doing really good. I went 8 for 10. I went 8 out of 10 against the spread the first 10 games, but that was one of the games I missed, and I missed by a mile. And there was another game I missed by a mile. I can't remember, but I thought for sure. No, I hit that game. I said the Skins would cover. Against the spread. But I thought for sure the Colts were going to win that game, and I thought they'd cover. It was an 8-point spread. Colts, I thought, matched up great. A run-first team with that offensive line. I thought Rivers would come in, be a game manager. Really disappointing performance if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan. I think you hit the nail on the head. The Jaguars were a shocker today. Everybody thought that they were tanking, and they can't even tank right.
Exactly.
What about Cam Newton? He looked great.
Cam Newton had like 70 yards on the ground.
Did you see after the game the Dolphins players all like ganged up on him and they ripped a chain his grandma gave to him? Like they all just ran at him.
I saw that he was upset after the game, but I didn't know.
Yeah, they were all like, I saw it behind this real crummy footage, and Christian Wilkins just ran up and like ripped it from him. And I don't know why players always do that, because Cam said his grandma got it for him, and they were all just so mad after he had 2 running touchdowns. Like Cam looked pretty solid today, so I was confused why. Leighton Van Der Esch has gone to their locker room.
I mean, he looks like he's walking fine. Maybe I didn't see the injury. Yeah. Maybe it's a concussion. But Leighton Van Der Esch,
a lot of like neck injuries too. I think
he had injuries last year. That would be a big blow to the Dallas Cowboys. Here's Dak. Dak hits Cooper there for might have got to the sticks. Looks like he's a half-yard short. It'll be 3rd and a half a yard.
But yeah, for anyone, a lot of people in the chat were asking why I was laughing earlier. It was because David said the name Jalen Hurts, and that name usually makes me laugh because the Eagles took him. But Zeke with a good carry. How many yards was that?
Another team that really surprised me was the Browns, just how bad they looked. Because I thought they had a really good offseason. They got Austin Hooper at tight end. They drafted Wills in the first round. They have Conklin at right tackle, who's one of the best right tackles in football. They do have a solid defense with Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. I thought that game would be competitive. That was actually the 1:00 game I was most excited about. But Baker Mayfield just looked really bad, and that this is like his second year in a row. He was terrible last season, and a lot of people put that on the coaching with Freddie Kitchens. Mm-hmm. He did have some offensive line struggles last year, but I think he's like running out of excuses. Like if he doesn't get his act together this year, I think there's a chance they might go in another direction at quarterback. Yeah. And that could be actually a team that's in like the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's you think they could be that you think they could be that bad?
I feel like that's one of the teams that could just fall apart with all the different
I got one for you. And I don't think they would take Trevor Lawrence because they just drafted a quarterback in the second round when they just gave him a big extension. But everything is falling apart for the Eagles. Would you be shocked if they're picking in the top 5 or 6 in next year's draft? Because I wouldn't. I'm not predicting it. But if you told me the Eagles, look at their schedule, guys. Look at their schedule. They just lost to the Skins. They still got to play the Saints. They still got to play the Packers. They still got to play the NFC West. They still got to play the AFC North. They got to play the Cowboys twice. They got to play us twice. I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles finished with 5 wins. Bad Dog said it last night. Now they lost to the Skins. When you look at that schedule, they could be picking top 5, top 6 by the end of the year. I would not be shocked.
And when you draft a quarterback like they did in the second round, like what kind of signal is that sending to your franchise quarterback, Carson Wentz? And he did not look good today. There were plays, like I didn't watch the entire game, but there were plays when he had time in the pocket and he just was not hitting his receivers. And like I said, I don't like their weapons very much. I don't think Alshon Jeffrey is the type of receiver he used to be a few years ago. So yeah, crazier things have happened. I could definitely see the Eagles falling apart this year.
For sure. I just want to take Zeke got in.
Oh, damn, he'd be like 4 dudes on that one juke. Wow.
I don't want to see your stomach. I don't want to see your stomach. What are you doing? But let's take a couple of questions from the chat, man. Thank you guys for being here, man. I appreciate it. We'll feed off some of you guys' questions. I was surprised with the Packers. I was surprised with the Packers too, and I like the Packers. I actually picked them to win the North, but the way that they won today against the Vikings, I picked them to win. I didn't think they were going to win like that, and Minnesota made it look closer than it really was. Aaron Rodgers, for everybody that says that Aaron Rodgers is done, shut up. Just shut up. The guy has been ridiculous the last 2 years, 50 touchdowns, 6 picks, and then he goes out there today. He hits the 50-yard bomb. He throws it right where it needs to be down the sideline, and then he threw that beautiful touchdown in the left corner of the end zone on the run. Aaron Rodgers is still great. I'm not saying he's Pat Mahomes great anymore, but he's still great. He's still among one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and the Packers look good, and maybe Aaron Rodgers is on a mission to prove the Packers wrong for going out there and trading up for Jordan Love.
Yeah, because like last year, their defense basically carried that team. They made the NFC Championship game, and I know they got blown out by the 49ers in that game. But I think Aaron Rodgers had 8 games last year where he only had 1 touchdown or less. So, yeah, I think he is motivated, the fact that they drafted a quarterback in the first round. When, just like the Eagles, they needed weapons to kind of help Rodgers. But, you know, he's such a talented player. I was very surprised that they drafted a quarterback in the first round. They drafted a backup running back in the second
A.J.
round.
Dillon, yeah. Definitely a shocker. I'm just laughing at what Stephen Lilly said, because me and Stephen Lilly from across the pond, I'm glad to see he's here, one of my best subscribers. He says Rodgers will choke in the playoffs, and you know it, Chris. He knows that I really respect Rodgers' game, and he likes to pick on Rodgers. It is what it is. And Mike, man, thanks so much for love. He says, guys, today was glorious. Football is back, but you're damn right it is, Mike. And tomorrow night is when it is really back. And this stream's going to be popping, and hopefully the Giants go out there and they smash them right in the mouth. But, yeah, what did you guys think? Harrison, what did you think of Rodgers today? You think Rodgers still got it?
Oh, I couldn't understand. Like, I think the whole Jordan Love pick, when that happened, everyone moved sort of from the conversation of, wow, what a dumb pick, to, oh, is Rodgers done? And I thought that was so silly, because Rodgers never, like, the only time he really showed any significant signs of slowing down was, I think it was it 2016 or 17 when they ran the table and he had 40 touchdowns that year when he threw the Hail Mary against us? Like, he had a shocking start to the season. Everyone's like, oh, is Rodgers done? And then, bam, they ran the table. He had 40 touchdowns. And from then on out, I was like, okay, I can never doubt Rodgers again. And when camp started up, I heard all these rumors like, oh, is Rodgers done? And everyone was talking about it on social media. I could never understand it, because he's not like a system quarterback. Like, people forget how talented he is. And when he had 4 touchdowns today, I wasn't even shocked at all. I was just like, well, it's Aaron Rodgers. Like, why are people surprised? So I'm honestly not. They're like, oh, well, they're going to trade him with Jordan Love being there, but I don't see that. I don't see Jordan Love touching the field until that contract expires, unless
Aaron Rodgers forces his way off the team.
Exactly.
If he's not happy, but I think Rodgers is he's gonna prove a lot. That's his mission this year. Not just the fans, not just the media. He wants to prove the Packers wrong, because the Packers stuck it to him. This was a guy. They keep this in mind, by the way, Big Blue. The Green Bay Packers, over Aaron Rodgers' entire career, have never drafted a first-round wide receiver. His entire career, he's never thrown a touchdown to a first-round wide receiver. So this year, they clearly need a wide receiver, and they go out there and they draft a backup quarterback a year after they went 13-3. Jabroni.
It did work for them in the past with the Aaron Rodgers, so I think maybe they just thought, okay, well, this worked before, and we're going to do it. I don't think it was the right move, because there was rumors that Rodgers was going to go number 1 overall that draft. Everyone knew he was immensely talented. And then he kind of just fell into their lap, where this one, they kind of forced it. They traded up for him. And I think they're just trying to get the repeat success they had in the past. And I think it was definitely the wrong move. And then obviously the A.J. Dillon pick, he might work there. He might be a good player, but he was a player they could have gotten much later in that draft.
Plus, they had a good running back.
Yeah, Alex Jones had a great year for them. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He obviously knows the offense. But he absolutely played fantastic today. He showed it up to the non-existent owner of Green Bay that he's going to be here to stay, or if you're going to want to get him out of town, it's going to be pretty easy to get rid of him.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, 100%. Joe, man, thanks so much for love. He says we may actually beat the Eagles this year. Joe, I've told you guys now the last couple of streams, we're clipping the wings this year. we are clipping the Eagles' wings this year. We're going to get at least one Eagle win. I promise you. Well, I shouldn't say that because then I'm going to look like a fool. I'm pretty confident that we are going to beat the Eagles once this year. Pretty confident. I think I really do. But let's field a couple of questions. Alvaro says, do you think Washington will sack us as much as they did the Eagles? Alvaro says, I'll start with that. No. I think that the Eagles' offensive line is trash right now. Like we were saying, they were starting a rugby player who never had collegiate experience, right, David?
Yeah, they said he never played a snap of football before he entered the NFL. So he was definitely a project. He was their third string right tackle. So
yeah,
when Eden went in there, you could see how much that team on the offensive line was struggling today. So
not to mention the Eagles were without all their weapons for the most part. They didn't have a full offense. Their offensive line was in shambles. I think the Skins definitely have a very good pass rush. I'm not trying to discount their pass rush, but I think it was a combination of their pass rush is definitely legit, and they were going up against a team that was completely dismantled with the offensive line. So, no, I do not think they're going to get 8 sacks against the New York Giants. I think by that point in time, the Giants will be battle-tested. They will have gone against some very good pass rushers. And I think the offensive line will be starting to gel around week 5, week 6. So I think the offensive line will actually be playing better by that point. I see Antonis just popped in. Let me get him in. I don't know if he's ready yet. What is going on, Antonis, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, my man.
What's going on? Sorry, I had to take a little nap before
no,
we start.
You kidding? What time is it over there?
2:00.
You guys want to talk about UK? You're in the UK, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You guys want to talk about a diehard subscriber? He did this last time Antonis came on.
I got to be up at 6:30, so you want to talk diehard? Like I'm giving it my all right now. You've got 100%.
And then you got to be up for the Giant game tomorrow.
Yep. So I got to stay up for that as well.
But all right, let me get your thoughts because we've talked to everybody else. What did you think about everything that transpired today? Mainly the Eagles game, and now you got the Cowboys deadlocked in a tie 7-7. What did you think about that Eagles game today? Were you surprised?
I mean, I don't know. The Eagles started off so strong. It was just like first half and second half. It was like watching 2 totally different games. But I don't know. I just feel like the Eagles were very, very they almost felt very rusty, and the Washington football team just looked very good the second half. You just got. I don't know if it was the Eagles were that bad or if the Washington football team actually played quite well. So I think it was a bit of a combination of both, in my opinion. I'm just very happy they lost, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think we all are. I think we're all really excited. And you're a very optimistic Giant fan. You think we're getting a win? You think we're getting a win tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Simple as. I mean, look. Before people are gonna call me crazy, but if I told you yesterday that Jacksonville were gonna win, if I told you yesterday that the Eagles were gonna lose to Washington, you would have called me crazy again. So, I mean, these games are very, very, they're a matter of who's better on the day, and I just think that we have such amazing talent, especially in our offense. And the one thing that we've always lacked is just a winning mentality, and I just think that's something that Joe Judge has managed to bring. And, it's in the bigger games that I think some of our best players really ball out. So, if Daniel Jones can have a good game, if Saquon can have a good game, we've got players like Evan Ingram, Daniel Jones, and Saquon that can win games by themselves. You've seen it before with Saquon. You've seen it before with Daniel Jones last season. He's got multiple games with 4+ touchdowns. So I don't see why not. I mean, it's going to be tough. No one said it's going to be easy, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be possible.
I like the winning mentality. There's no doubt about it. And the other thing I want to bring up about Daniel Jones, if you're trying to look at this game from a glass half full perspective, Daniel Jones last year, not for one game in his entire career so far as a New York Giant, had a full arsenal of weapons. All 5 of his main weapons he didn't have in one game last year. Golden Tate was suspended the first 4 games. Barkley goes down week 3. Then Evan Ingram goes down. Sterling Shepard goes down with the concussions. He didn't have a full team, and he didn't even have a real healthy Saquon Barkley really until, week 11 maybe? He was not himself probably until after that Jet game, maybe a week or 2 after the Jet game. So you want to look at that. There's a lot of room for growth here with Daniel Jones. Of course, there's a new offense, and I'm excited to see that. I want to talk to David about that. What do you expect? How do you expect it? We know that they're going to try to run. That's common sense. The New York Giants are going to try to run at all costs against this team. But when they throw the ball tomorrow.
China.
Yo,
sorry to cut you off, but Leighton Vander Esch has a collarbone injury and he's out for the game, and collarbone could be serious. So, that I don't want to. Of course, God forbid any injuries, but that's big for Dallas if he's out for a big amount of time.
He was hurt last year, Vander Esch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a second-team All-Pro as a rookie.
So no. That's big news. So obviously you don't root for injuries, but that's Vander Esch going down. That's a big. We'll see if he's out for an extended period of time. That's big news. But David, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, we know that. And Rob, I'm going to get to that in 1 second. Obviously, we know. We say it all the time. No matter what giant YouTube channel you go on, it's common sense, specifically against this team. And when you have Saquon Barkley on your roster, run. But when they throw, what do you think the game plan is going to be for the New York Giants in this game? How are they going to attack this Pittsburgh Steelers defense?
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers might have the best defense in the NFL. They really have no weaknesses, but I did write a column about like the keys to victory. In one area of their defense I think they can exploit is their linebackers and coverage, because Saquon is an excellent receiver out of the backfield. Obviously, we have great tight ends, not only Evan Ingram, but Caden Smith. And Evan Ingram's depth of target was only 6 yards last year, which ranked like really low compared to, the other elite tight ends. So I think using Ingram to stretch the field a little bit and using him down the seam would give guys like Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard a little bit more room to operate underneath and maybe like open things up for Saquon. Because, if you watch like Ingram at Ole Miss, he was always going down the seam, catching the ball deep. But for the Giants, it seems like whenever he did make a big play, it was kind of like a short pass that he would, take to the house himself. So I would like to see them use Ingram down the seam, put him in the slot, have him kind of go downfield a little bit more. But the key, obviously, is going to be the offensive line. But I think Ingram is going to be key because he was the player that we targeted most. Daniel Jones, I think, averaged 9.5 targets to Ingram those first 8 games that he actually played. Yeah. So I do think he's our most dangerous pass catcher on the team. And I think he's going to be, especially with the Jason Garrett offense, I think he's going to be a major part of the game plan.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Ingram's definitely the biggest weapon in the passing game. I do want to see Barkley get more involved in the passing game, like you were alluding to as well. And I think Slayton really fits on the outside. I think we need that guy on the outside, the deep threat. I completely agree with what you had to say about Ingram, especially like what you said about him in college. If you look at his college tape, they were always throwing, even on the outside, they were throwing deep balls to him on the outside. They used him a bit as a wide receiver. I want to see them try to stretch the field with Evan Ingram because, like you said, that's going to open up those short and intermediate routes when the linebackers to go back 15 yards to cover Evan Ingram. So, and I think that'll be the approach. I think the Giants are going to try to attack that 15 to 20-yard range with the tight end over the middle of the field to try to open up the underneath routes. I agree with you. I think that's going to be the game plan in the passing game, no doubt about it. And they're going to need to run properly to get that play action going.
Yeah, and the linebackers on Pittsburgh are very good. They have Devin Bush, who's very athletic. He was a top 10 pick last year. But Vince Williams is the other starting middle linebacker. He's sort of a weakness in coverage. And I was listening to a couple of Steelers guys, and they say he's kind of a weakness when it comes to pass coverage, kind of like Blake Martinez. A lot of people give him slack for his coverage skills. But, Joe Judge has always talked about, playing to your player's strengths and exploiting the weakness of your opponent. So I think that's somebody they have to kind of target in the passing game. If he gets one-on-one with Saquon or even if it's Caden Smith. Smith is somebody that has really good chemistry with Daniel Jones. So I do think they're going to use a lot more 2 tight end sets than they've used in the past. I think they used 11 personnel, which is like 3 receivers and a tight end, over 75% of the snaps last year. So I don't see the Giants playing like that anymore. I do think they're going to use a lot more of the tight ends. I
completely agree. I think you're going to see a ton of 2 tight end sets. And Rob, thank you for the love. I appreciate it. He says, do you think Tate will play? I do. And I didn't hear anything on that today. From what I heard, he's still questionable. But I do think Tate will play. We'll see. Maybe it'll be a game time decision. But he did. It's not like he didn't, practice, take part in drills and practice. I think he will play, and hopefully he does. Because like I said, Jones hasn't had a full arsenal of weapons since he's been there. And if he goes down, well, then you're asking a guy like C.J. Board probably to take a more expanded role. And I don't want to see that. I want to see the full arsenal going out there. Week 1, Golden Tate, I think, was one of the most underrated players on this team last year. I say it all the time. The guy had almost 700 yards, I think, in 12 games. And he had 6 touchdowns, which is a lot for him. Also, his yards per catch were way up. He averaged 15 yards per catch last year. Traditionally, he's 10 or 11 yards. And in this offense, I think he'll maintain that because I think they're going to throw more balls down the field. You look at Randall Cobb last year. Randall Cobb's kind of, I guess, a similar type of receiver to Golden Tate. And Randall Cobb in this offense last year averaged 15 yards a catch, and he had never done that before. He was always known to be a 9 or 10 yards a catch type guy. I expect Tate to have a similar type of role. Maybe not the amount of targets that he's accustomed to, but when he gets them, I think it'll be further down the field for Golden Tate. But I'm excited to see how they use Golden Tate in this offense, no doubt about it. Harrison, what do you think about the passing game in this contest?
Yeah, see, I think the biggest thing in this game is I think the most important thing is to be able to establish the run because we have the best back in football and the most talented, certainly. So if you've got to establish the run against this Pittsburgh pass rush because if you're going to come back and throw every play with Daniel Jones, we're going to get obliterated with Cam Fleming on that side. Andrew Thomas is brand new, so we're not sure how he's going to hold up. So I think it's really important we establish the run. I would like, well, I think Bad Dog said this in his preview video. I think we should come out first drive slinging the rock, throwing the ball. So Pittsburgh's like, wow, they're throwing. And then that way, second drive, and then the rest of the game, just establish the run the ball, and that's going to make the best of both worlds, make them both really effective. And I think that would be the proper key. And then the number 2 thing is, like you said, Daniel Jones finally has all of his weapons. So we have, Tate, Slayton, Shepard, Ingram, Caden Smith, Barkley, all back, all healthy. Tate maybe less so with his hamstring, but he seems on the way he's talking on Twitter about counting down the days. He sounds like he's definitely playing like LPG said in your stream. So yeah, I think certainly we have a shot. I would say the number 1 thing though is to make sure we establish the run. Like if you remember week 1, 2018, we played Jacksonville right when they're coming off the AFC Championship. They have the best defense in football. And we came out and we would have had 2 touchdowns to Odell if Eric Flowers learned how to block a statue, and it would have been easy. And we had that game in the bag. And Barkley had the big run, and that was the number 1 defense in football. This year we're playing one of the best defenses in football. If we can just if our offensive line can be about, like you said, league average this season, I think, and play solid tomorrow night, and we establish the run, I think tomorrow could be a big upset for the Giants.
I sure hope so, man. And Rob, man, I appreciate the love, and I'm going to ask Big Blue Jabroni this. Breakout picks for the offense and the defense. Thank you again for loving. I appreciate that. Who's your breakout picks for the offense and the defense this year?
I love Caden Smith. I think he's going to be the starting tight end by the end of the year. I think Ingram looks great in shorts, and every camp, everyone tells me how great he's going to be, and the supporting cast, and he's going to be perfect, and he's going to set everything up. I think Jason Garrett's going to get there. He's going to see Caden Smith wearing number 82, and he's going to go, that's my next Jason Witten. This guy gets open on third downs. He's got sure hands. Every single – and in this Cowboys game, they always talk about how Blake Jarwin, how great he is and how athletic – well, he did nothing for the Cowboys. And I hope Ingram proves me wrong. I hope he gets 10 touchdowns and he's going over the top and he's looking great. I just don't see it happening. I think halfway through the year, when he's hurt again, Caden Smith's going to steal that job from him. On defense, I love Julian Love. He was the youngest player on the team last year. He was drafted as a corner out of Notre Dame. They say, hey, you're going to play safety. He says, no problem, I'll do it. They signed Logan Ryan. They draft another safety. And guess who's still going to be on the starting depth chart? Little pesky Julian Love. He's going to find his way onto the field. He's a ball player. I think you're going to see him all around the field. And I think by the time McKinney comes back, you're going to have Giants fans going, well, what are we going to do with Julian Love? We got to keep him on the field.
Right. I got a question for you. You're talking about the cornerbacks, Jabroni. Who do you think is going to win that second cornerback job? Because I think it's still up for grabs.
I have no idea, man. Once Beal pulled out and it kind of seemed like he was just going to be handed that job, it kind of things like I hope what I don't want to see is in week one, we're kind of just carouseling that job and just waiting for something to stick. I like whoever they do send out there. I think you're going to see some love, obviously some Logan Ryan. They're going to move everyone around. Darnay Holmes could be a surprise.
That's what I was going to ask you
in camp. But whoever they do have at the 2,
I'd like to see him play the 2 that whole game, or as much of it or a lot of it. I don't want us to just see like, okay, well, let's throw Hamilton out there. Let's throw this guy out there. Let's throw that guy out there and kind of see who wins the job. I hope the job is already won going into this game.
I agree with you.
Hope that Darnay Holmes, all these Hall of Fame cornerbacks are saying he's the best. He's going to be all this. I didn't buy any of it. Then all of camp, and now all of a sudden before the game started, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this kid Darnay Holmes might be the truth. Everyone's saying every game he's a game wrecker.
Yeah. Listen, man, wow, they just missed the field goal.
Yeah, Zerlin.
Was that the Cowboys that missed that or the Rams?
Yeah, Cowboys missed Greg Zerlin, the Rams kicker of old.
Former Rams kicker, yeah.
All right. He's helping out his former team. I like it. 10-7 Rams, 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. So that's good. That's good news there. What were you going to say, John Harrison?
Oh, sorry. In the chat, I don't know if you've been seeing this, Antonis, my man, but last stream I was getting called Daniel Jones, but I see a few Julian Edelmans in the chat and some Conor McGregors. So, yay! It's not me anymore. I
could see that a little bit. He's got the beard. He's got the hair. I could see it. And you're a fighter, right?
Had that type of money though as well.
You're a fighter too, right, Antonio?
Yeah,
I'm a boxer.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So,
thank you.
I see it. I could see it, man. BX, man, thanks so much for love. I appreciate it, man. He says, hey, everyone. Both Mekhi Becton and Tristan Wirth both struggled today going up against experienced rushers. Is it safe to say that we should expect the same for Thomas? Discuss, gentlemen. Go G-Man. BX, man, thanks so much for love. I think everybody's obviously I'll let everybody talk about it, but I'll start. I think everybody's their own man. Everybody's their own individual, but I think Andrew Thomas is probably that's what I like the most about him. That's why I thought he was the safest lineman coming out of the draft. Everything that you heard was he was the most NFL ready. Jedrick Wills, they said, had the technique and everything else, but he played right tackle. Hadn't played on the left side. Mekhi Becton was a guy that, he was fluctuating in weight, 370, 350, played at Louisville, didn't go up against the best possible competition. I'm not telling you that Thomas isn't going to struggle. He's definitely going up against some very good players. But of the four, who am I most comfortable with going into the year to be prepared day one? I would say Andrew Thomas. That would be my answer. And I'm not telling you he's not going to make mistakes. Look at the pass rushers, guys, we're going up against. Let's take tomorrow out of it. You got the Redskins week 6. We saw what they did today. They came up with 8 sacks. You got DeMarcus Lawrence on the Cowboys. You've got Bosa and Ford on the 49ers. You've got Donald on the Rams. We're going up against ferocious pass rushers. There's no doubt about it. You're talking about probably 5 of the top 10 defensive line units in the league in the first 5 or 6 weeks. So it is not going to be easy. Make no mistake about it. But to answer your question, 1, they're all different individuals. But 2, I think Andrew Thomas was the safest pick. I think he's the most NFL ready. So I think if somebody's going to make it a smoother transition into the league, it would be him of the 4. But Antonis, I'll let you speak on that.
Are we talking strictly tomorrow, or are we talking in general, like over the NFL?
I guess. Well, yeah. I guess tomorrow, but also I guess throughout the course of his rookie season.
I mean, at the end of the day, all the rookies are going to find it hard because they haven't had the appropriate preseason. There's been limitations on trainings, and there's just been a lot of things that haven't been there for them that actually helps a lot of players play. Like I learned this when I played American football, was that you could train as much as you want, but until you get on the field, you're not going to know what it's like. And I feel like it's exactly the same with NFL. College and NFL is 2 totally different ball games. And that's why you see a lot of people that are very college fit, but they don't succeed in the NFL, and especially playing offensive tackle as well, which is one of the most disrespected positions, I think, in my opinion, on the field. They're always going to find it hard. And the fact that these rookie tackles have had no preseasons, they've had limitations in training, and then they're going against the pass rushers that they're going against, it's obvious to me that they're going to find it difficult. So, but I think you're right in terms of all of the tackles that went in last season's draft. I think Andrew Thomas was the most NFL ready. He's the most complete tackle in my opinion. And I've been doing quite a bit of research on him as well, and just the way that he can reset his feet and make sure he's getting in the right positions and making sure that he's always got himself in between the pass rusher and the QB. For me, I think he'll be the most ready, but I think he'll struggle.
Yeah.
We're going to have a difficult task. We're going against Pittsburgh. their defense is known for their defense for a reason. So it's not only going to be him that's going to be struggling, but I think we'll hold up, and I think he will as well. I think he'll do a lot better than what we think. But if there's a sack coming through or whatever, you can't hate on him too much for it.
Yeah, he's a rookie. I mean, think about it like when you start your job, whatever you do. When you were a boxer when you first started, you probably got the shit kicked out of you.
I got beat.
Oh yeah.
and the more that then you learn, okay, well, maybe I got to move my hand this way next time or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like any job. You're going to make mistakes when you first start out, and you'll learn not to make that mistake again. So I do think Andrew Thomas will struggle somewhat, though. I think he'll be more prepared than the others that he mentioned, yes. But he's a rookie. It's any rookie. You expect rookies to start out bad. And that is not, like I said earlier, the pass rusher position with Chase Young. And I want to get David because I know David knows a lot about the offensive tackle position. But I was talking about Chase Young. That is a very easy – that is probably the easiest position to translate into the NFL. If you're a good pass rusher, you're going to be good pretty soon, pretty quickly, as soon as you enter the league because there's not a lot of technique. I mean, there's technique involved, but it's a lot of based off athleticism. The offensive line, you have to – first off, the guys around you also impact the way that you play. It's a unit. I always say it. You could have 5 All-Pro linemen. If they're not used to playing with each other, they're going to take a few games to get used to one another. We got to factor that in. We got 3 offensive linemen that have never played together before. So you got to factor all that in. I think we will see a little bit of struggling going up against this defense week 1. That's why I think they got to try to run the ball as much as possible. It's much easier to run block than pass protect. But, David, I want to get your thoughts on the question about Thomas.
Yeah, I think besides being the most NFL ready, I think he's the best run blocker out of any of the offensive tackles from this draft class. And that's something I think they're actually going to do to mitigate the pass rush by Pittsburgh is try to use some of the RPO. I was watching the Patriots-Miami Dolphins game today, and Cam Newton was doing a really good job on those RPO plays, and it keeps the defensive ends from rushing upfield. And that's something Daniel Jones was actually really good at Duke, and he's comfortable with it. And we've always talked about playing to player strengths. So it's something I think the Giants are going to do a lot more of. He didn't do it so much last year, but when he did do it, he was very effective with it. But yeah, I think with Andrew Thomas, they're going to have to help him. Levine Toilolo, I think, was brought over to help with his blocking. So I think they're going to have, the tight end stay in a little bit. They're going to play more max protection. And yeah, I think running the ball is going to help Andrew Thomas with his pass blocking because he's a better run blocker, I think, at this point on the NFL level. So
As is Hernandez, by the way. Hernandez is known more for his run blocking.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that left side of the offensive line. I think they will mesh together better because of Mark Colombo. I think he's a very good offensive line coach. And Hal Hunter, if you remember the last couple of years, we always struggled with like stunts. And when teams sent blitzes, they would get a free guy. But I think they will play better as a unit. And that's something that's going to take a little bit of time. So I think throughout the season, like you said before, they're going to continue to improve on the offensive line.
100%. I'm going to get to roll these donations, then we'll flip it over to Harrison to feed off this. He says, Chris, I agree with you, which is sometimes rare. Just kidding, but you're right. We are about to face some tough pass rushers. Washington's defensive front scared the crap out of me today. Roldy, yeah, we've been talking about that. I mean, listen, man, and it should have. Washington has a good pass rush. We knew that coming into the year, and it's kind of why I kind of said, well, if we can't get Chase Young, at least we could get a guy that could block him, and Andrew Thomas hopefully could do that for the next 10 years. But yeah, it's definitely legit. But the one thing I'll say to that, also factor in the offensive line for the Eagles. They, like we were saying throughout the stream, they were completely, dismantled. You're talking about having a guy on the line that didn't play college football. He was a third-string tackle. So, yes, it's definitely a legit pass rush. We knew that going into the year. Chase Young is legit. That guy looked ferocious coming off the edge. Every time he got by his man, it looked like he was going to rip the quarterback's head off. So you should be worried, but I don't think they're quite as good as they displayed today. I think they were going up against a weakened opponent with the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. And Riot, man, thanks for love. I appreciate it. He says, hey, Chris, I don't know if you remember me. Of course I remember you, Riot Clan. But it has been a while since I have been able to pop into the streams, stuff with fam, but hoping to join in for more. Riot Clan, man, no, man. I always say, man, you never have to apologize, man. I appreciate you guys coming in whenever you can, whenever you watch the videos. Thank you for being here, buddy. I really appreciate all the support. We're gonna get to the next question, and we're gonna let Harrison get to feed off of it. But thank you to everybody for being here. And of course, thank you to you guys for coming on. I'm having a blast. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to do this every week. I'll probably have a couple of new YouTubers, have a couple of new subscribers every week. I'm sure I'm going to get you guys back on. I love Harrison. I love Antonis. You guys did a great job the last time you came on. And, of course, David and Jabroni. I mean, come on. You guys are great. But let's get to the next quote here. Here we go. Sven says, you are in rebuild mode, Tana. What do you have to lose? Oh, this is just more of a comment. Give Danny Dimes another year and you will get better and worse than the Eagles. You can't be. I don't know what you mean, but I mean, I'm not saying to get rid of Danny Dimes. I've never said that once. I want to see Daniel Jones progress this year. So I don't know if that's the comment that you mean or you're just making a statement there. Stephen Lilly says, okay, but I'll get some sleep, Stephen, man. Thank you guys so much for being here. And Rob, I appreciate that. He says, thanks for the awesome content. I really appreciate that. New Jersey Jake says, I tried to tell everyone the Browns were overrated. You have another rookie head coach with no experience. I'll tell you what, Jake, the Browns, we were talking about it earlier. The Browns, to me, might be the most disappointing team of the day. One team we didn't talk about, and I'm going to give them credit because I've been bashing them all offseason, Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals went to San Francisco today, and they got to win. And I got to give them credit for that. I mean, they look legit. The Arizona Cardinals played very well today, and they got me thinking twice about whether or not they could win the NFC West. They looked really good today. And the 49ers were at home. You got to worry about if the 49ers may be on a Super Bowl hangover. Of course, the Seahawks look terrific. And I never understood why that line was the way it was. I'll talk to Big Blue Jabroni about this. The spread going into that game was 1.5 points. I never understood that going in. Now, I know that Atlanta finished the year strong last year. I think they won 6 out of 8. They won in New Orleans. But I looked at Atlanta. This is a bad defense. I'm sorry. They are. I didn't see how they measured up with Seattle at all in that game. And obviously, Seattle came out there and they blew their doors off.
Yeah, I love Russell Wilson. Any game where I get to get Russell Wilson, I mean, you just look at his winning percentage. He finds a way to win games. I understand that home field advantage is usually worth 3 points. I don't know exactly how Vegas is going to kind of look at home field advantage going forward, especially with this year. But, yeah, they looked unstoppable. They passed the ball a ton in the first half, and all you were hearing this whole offseason was they need to let Russ cook, and they need to let him loose and kind of upgrade this offense. And they look like they did that in a big way. Matt Ryan does exactly what he does. Was for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns in a game where after you think he didn't really play all that well. He's got a ton of great targets, and the offense has been there since the MVP year. But, yeah, that defense has to get it together. Dan Quinn's going to be a sit and duck. He's going to be off the team. They're going to find a new guy fairly soon. But, yeah, they just were not able to get off the field ever. And on 4th and 5, they go for it on their in opponent's 45, and they go right over the top for DK Metcalf for a touchdown. That was a bit of a backbreaker in the third quarter, and it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, Seattle to me was one of the most impressive teams of the day, and Arizona. Both those teams in the NFC West, and the way the Niners played today, maybe they will have that Super Bowl hangover. And you look over the past Super Bowls, I mean, it seems almost every year that the team that loses in the Super Bowl has a Super Bowl hangover. The Rams, the Falcons the year after that they went, the Giants the year after that they went the second time around. So maybe that will be the case. We'll see. I still like the Niners. I still think they have a really good team, but the Cardinals definitely opened up my eyes today. There's no doubt about it. They look legit. And Rob, all right, I don't know if Harrison gave his prediction on the game tomorrow, but I saw Robert ask this a bunch. He says, "What's up? Do any of you think the Giants will win tomorrow?" I'll let you speak on that, Harrison. Do you think the Giants get out? Well, they're at home. Do you think they win at home tomorrow against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah. Real quick, I just wanted to touch on the Andrew Thomas thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, buddy.
Sorry. I'll get to that, but with Andrew Thomas, I mean, yeah, we're playing some really tight defensive pass rushes with Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt and those guys, but look at what's his name, Trishan Wirfs and Mekhi Becton and Jedrick Wills. I saw him get beat today quite a bit. So it's like the boxing example you brought up, Tana, with tonus and boxing. Like, I do boxing as well, and I was fighting the first time I sparred my brother. I was having fun with him because I kept connecting and I was just toying with him, and I got absolutely cracked in the nose. And and it throws you off completely. So if Andrew Thomas just early in the game, he might get beat, and that might shake his confidence. We can't get too, and here's a bad game, we can't get too down on it because it's a rookie. It's a tough off season. It's unlike any other, and we're playing top competition, the best pass rush probably in the league. So you can't get too down on it. But as for winning the game tomorrow, overly optimistic, and I think I'm
Overly
really
optimistic. I love it.
yeah. Well, I've been talking a lot of trash to Steelers fans recently, and I really think we'll win. I do, but I'm just so terrified about that, because Pittsburgh's defense and the new system, because this defense and offense both haven't played before, and it's this new system, new coach, new everything, and it's our first game against that good of a team with no preseason. It's scary. Like, that's the only. I think if we're gonna lose, it's just because we're not familiar with everything, and we're just gonna get that defense is just going to be too much. But I honestly think with all our weapons back, Daniel Jones, this new system with Jason Garrett's, deep downfield, run the ball tons. Barkley, like the stat you brought up the other day, I think, aren't we 5-1 when Barkley is over 20-something carries?
5-1. He's played 29 games as a Giant because he's obviously missed 3 due to injury. We're 5-1 when he has 20 carries. We're 4-19 when he doesn't.
Exactly. So I think if we come out, establish run with first drive, like their dog said, throw the ball, and we do it effectively, and then that will just open up everything we want. We can run the ball, throw the ball deep with Ingram. I think it'll just be. I think we can, if we can do it right. I honestly think we can come out week 1. I think if we're going to win, it's going to be a grueling game. Like, it's not going to be pleasant. I think it could be like a 17-14 sort of game. So. I'm not sure. I don't know if we're going to win, but I'm really, really hoping. Like, when the schedule came out, I thought this is a winnable game. We can do it. So I think we'd win something around 17-15.
Hey, you know what? I like it. We got another injury to the Cowboys. Is that Jarwin?
Oh yeah, they had the offensive lineman 75. I think it was who was it? He went on the stretch, the cart. So they've had 3 injuries now, and Zeke's in for a touchdown.
Looks like Evan Ingram.
Oh, another screen pass.
There's a flag. There's probably gonna be a hold. I think this will come back.
Please be a hold. Please be a hold.
There's a flag down the field.
I've got him on my fantasy.
Andrew, man, thank you so much for love, Andrew. I appreciate that. He says Todd McShay has us picking Parsons out of Penn State, middle linebacker at 8. Would you do the same, or would you go corner or O-line? Well, all right, I'll answer that. I'm not going O-line, and I love O-line. Nobody loves O-line more than me. I'm not going O-line next year. We've addressed that. Obviously, we hope that Matt Parrott's the guy. We'll see what Nick Gates does at center, but even if Nick Gates isn't the guy, you're not taking a center that early in the first round. So, and, if he's not the guy, maybe you gave Shane Lemieux a chance, too, at the center position. We've got offensive linemen in our roster that I think we're going to give opportunities. Not saying we won't draft an offensive lineman next year, but I doubt we draft one in the early first round. First and 20, there's a catch over the middle for about 8 yards. It'll be about 2nd and 12. I think we're going defense in the first round. If we're not going defense, I think we're going wide receiver. Me personally, I want to go defense. I'd be completely for Parsons. He's known to be the best linebacker in this year's draft class from everything that you hear. Of course, he's not playing, so that may change. Now that teams are playing, he may fall down the draft charts, whatever it may be. But I want to go defense. I would love a linebacker. I think a cornerback is certainly a possibility. I know Giants fans don't want to hear it, but look at our secondary right now, guys. We're talking about playing potentially Corey Ballantyne on the other side. Corey Ballantyne got lit up last year. You know what I'm saying? And the guy we just traded for a guy that's a former we traded a 7th round pick for a guy that's a former 3rd or 4th round pick that hasn't been able to get the job done at the NFL level. Maybe one of these guys works out. Maybe Darnay Holmes on the outside. It is impossible to predict right now because we don't know how these players are going to perform. If O'Shane Ximines has 12 sacks and Lorenzo Carter has 10 sacks, we're not looking for an edge rusher. If miraculously Devontae Downs becomes one of the best linebackers in the sport, well, we're not looking for Parsons. So you got to kind of see how the players on the team play this year. But right now, defense,
touchdown.
Defense. Oh, Dak got in for a touchdown.
I have a quick for the cornerback thing. What do you think about the Ballantyne sort of situation? I know everyone says Logan Ryan's a slot guy, and I think we should use him as a sort of hybrid and a free safety while his knee's down. That's not a touchdown, but he's a sort of a hybrid guy, can play safety while McKinney's out. But I wouldn't be so opposed if we put Love at free safety, Holmes in the slot, and tried putting Logan Ryan outside at corner number 2, because usually he is a slot guy, of course, but he's so versatile that I think he could guard outside, especially in a game like this where we need to get guys like Ballantyne and all these new guys acclimated to the system. So I think he could hold down the fort at least on the outside. And whilst, he is a slot guy, I think he could be our best option, honestly. And then you can use Holmes in the slot like he was sort of meant to be, and use Love at free safety. What do we think about that? It's unpopular, I know, but
I like the idea of putting Holmes on the outside because that's where he mostly played last year for UCLA. And I know the blue-white scrimmage can't tell you too much, but he made a really nice play on the outside against Slayton in the most recent scrimmage, the blue-white scrimmage. So I would actually like the defense to line up like Bradbury and Holmes on the outside, and then put Logan Ryan at the slot where he played last year. And then Julian Love can play a little bit in the slot as well if Ryan plays safety. So that's the kind of defense I would like to play because I'm not too confident in Ballantyne, especially after what I saw last year. Supposedly he struggled throughout training camp. And I think that's part of the reason they traded for Isaac Yiadom, who was a former third-round pick, but he did struggle a lot last year. So I think last year the Broncos played a lot of zone, and he's more of like a press man-to-man corner. So maybe he ends up being a little bit better. But I think you could be right. I think Logan Ryan might be forced to play a little bit on the outside as well.
Yeah,
even though that's not where he's best.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think they're going to move these guys all around the football field, and I think it's going to depend on the matchup that they're going up against. I think you hit it right on the head with Yiadom. I think that's why they brought him in here. That's all I read about when they first brought him in, that he's known to be good in that aspect of the game in terms of a press corner. So I think that they felt like he fit the scheme, and we'll see. Ballantyne's first on the depth chart, but Yiadom might get the first crack. Yvonne, man, thanks for the love. I appreciate it. He says, stand up, predict your stats for Danny Dimes game 1. We'll do it quick. We'll start with Antonis. Give me your stat line for Daniel Jones against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hopefully 0 fumbles.
Yeah, that's a good start. That's a good start.
I'd say in my head, my logic tells me 200 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. But I don't know. It depends. It really depends. It depends how the game goes. I feel like Joe Judge has been very, very he's highlighted so much how versatile we need to be. And I think this is one of the games where we're going to need to be versatile if we want to get a result. And I feel like we're going to need to do a little bit of everything. So it's really hard to predict, but I'd say 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and I'm not going to comment on interceptions or fumbles.
Good call.
All right, that works. That looks like the Cowboys. The Cowboys were like a half yard short. They used their second timeout 20 seconds ago. David, let me get your stat line for Daniel Jones.
All right, I'm going to predict 240 yards for Daniel Jones. I'm going to say 60 yards rushing because, like I said, I do think they're going to do a little bit of the RPO. I'll say 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I do think Minkah Fitzpatrick gets 1. He definitely scares me at safety. He might be the best safety in the NFL. And I'll say 1 fumble, but I think we'll actually get lucky this time and we'll recover one of Daniel Jones' fumbles. So
it's only two turnovers, not 3.
Yeah, only 2 turnovers. Yeah.
All right, and do you think we win with committing two turnovers? You do have us throwing 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I actually have us winning. I have us winning 24-17. I do think Jones is going to play well tomorrow. I think he's going to play better than Roethlisberger. I think it's going to come down to that because I do think Roethlisberger is going to be rusty. You saw like Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady, the older quarterbacks, did not play too well today. So I'm hoping that continues sort of as a trend. And this is like this might be one of the only games where I'm more worried about the Giants offense than defense. Because I think our defense, even though they could struggle a lot this year, matches up pretty good with the Steelers personnel. So
I completely agree with you. I think that's a great point. I think most weeks I'm definitely going to worry a lot more about the defense, but this week in particular with DeCastro out too, which we haven't touched on, the strength of this Giants defense is the interior defensive line. They're without their former All-Pro guard. I think they're going to have a liability. We saw what a banged-up offensive line today did for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think without DeCastro in there, that could definitely favor the New York Giants in terms of being able to get pressure up the middle, force Big Ben on the outside, and Big Ben has the 3rd most fumbles in the history of football. I think there's going to be turnover potential for the New York Giants in this game. I think they'll be aggressive. I think they're going to blitz, and I think that's a really good point you bring up. I'm more worried about the offense in this game because of the opponent we're going up against. Their defense is tremendous, and I do think where they're kind of weak in the offense, at least going into this game with the injuries on the offensive line, is kind of the Giants' strength on defense. So I think you bring up a really good point there. Harrison, what about you? Give me Daniel Jones' stat line.
Yeah. I think it's going to be I think we're going to, like I said, it's going to be a grueling sort of game if we're going to win. It's going to be a ground and pound sort of game. So I'm going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the late 100 sort of yards, but I'm going to go 213 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And I think Saquon will be the main point of our offense. I think for the fumbling sort of thing, I think he won't fumble this game, but I think one thing as Giants fans, when he does fumble, because he will, every quarterback does at some point in the season, that first fumble, people are going to freak out and say, oh, Danny fumbles, and they're going to get all upset about it. We got to remember, every quarterback does it. We just need it to not be 18. We just need to cut it down. That's all we need. So I think I don't think he'll fumble week 1. I think he'll have one pick because that, like you said, Minka, I think he's probably the best. Him and Jamal Adams are definitely 1 and 2 and at top safety. So I would say, yeah, one pick, we'll go 212 yards and a touchdown, and I think Barkley will be the real focal point. But I think it'll just depend purely on how deadly that pass rush is and how offensive line is.
All right, I like it. What about you, Jabroni? Give me Jones' stat line.
I think in the low 200s, maybe even sub 200. I think just Saquon Barkley is going to have the ball in his hands. Like, if he does get some touchdowns, I think it'll be in the red zone. All we need in the passing game is for them to not load the box. We need to take a couple shots over the top, make them at least believe in it. It's all about the run this game. It is all about time of possession, staying on the field, 3rd and short. I don't really need him to go for 303 touchdowns. If he does, that means we're behind. That means
good point.
We're having those games that we had last year where he throws 4 touchdowns, but we don't get to win because the defense is playing terrible and we can't get to establish the run. I think he's completely fine with throwing for 200 yards, a touchdown, and hopefully not turning the ball over. And that's exactly what I think we're going to need out of him. Maybe about 200, 1 or 2 scores. Just don't turn the ball over, and the time of possession. That is going to be
that's the key, man. That's the key, man. That's to me the 2 biggest keys going into this game, and it's the 2 biggest games going into 2 biggest stats going into this season in terms of team stats are time of possession and the turnover differential. Last year, the New York Giants were minus 17. They were the worst team in football in that aspect. They had 17 more turnovers than turnovers created. Pittsburgh was 5th in the league. They were plus 8. That is a huge factor going into this game, the time of possession and the turnovers. We cannot commit turnovers against this team. Pittsburgh, to me, is not a supremely talented offense, but they're a team that creates short field position because of their defense. Special teams is also going to be a huge factor in this game. We're going to have to pin them deep. We're going to have great punt coverage. We cannot make silly mistakes. So, in terms of my stat prediction, here's what I'll say. I completely agree with what Jabroni just had to say. I do not want Daniel Jones throwing for 300 yards. Now, the key number for me is even more so passing attempts, because I can see Jones taking some deep shots, and maybe if he hits on those deep shots, maybe you have a very efficient 270 yards. But to me, I don't want to see him have more than 27, 28 passing attempts, 30 tops throughout this game. If you look at the Steelers last year, in their losses, the quarterback attempted 29 passing attempts on average. In their wins, the quarterback attempted 34. I want him to be below 30. I want it to be, smart pass. I want them to be in unpredictable situations, and I want him to be smart with the football. I want him to be able to throw when it's unpredictable as well. I actually would like to see them throw on first down a lot of the times to set up the run on 2nd and 3rd. Because if they're predictable, like David was just saying, they've got one of the best safeties in football. If we're in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, you're asking for trouble. I mean, not just from Minka Fitzpatrick, the pass rushers. You got Watt, you got Dupree. When we throw the ball, it's got to be in 3rd and short, 2nd and mid, or 1st and 10. I don't want to be throwing 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10. I think you're asking for it if you do that. So if it's me, I want 220 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Saquon Barkley runs the ball 27 times for 130 yards and 2 scores, and we get out of there with a win. That's what I want. I want an efficient night from Daniel Jones. I don't want one of these fantasy nights. I don't want one of these games because, like you said, Big Blue, if he throws for 320 yards and 3 touchdowns, that means we're playing catch-up because that can't be the game plan going into this game. It just can't be. So if you're a Giant fan, don't start Daniel Jones on your fantasy team this week.
I benched him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I started Russell Wilson, and that worked out. So
you're hoping for an efficient game And that's my mindset going into the game. 200 yards, 1 touchdown, don't turn the ball over, and let Saquon do what Saquon does. That's got to be the game plan going into this game. No doubt about it. And I did not say the K word. Authentic says, if we establish the run, the play action will kill. Well, that's what I'm talking about, Authentic. If we do establish the run, I think that's why I said he could possibly throw for 280 yards in 27 attempts because he may hit on a couple of 30, 40-yard bombs down the middle for running the ball very effectively because it makes the defense cheat up. So, yeah, maybe in that aspect. But for me, he's got to be under 30 passing attempts, and I would like to run the ball as much as we throw it in this game. I want it to be a 50-50 disparity. I want us to be a balanced offense. Last year, we ran the ball 34% of the time. It's unacceptable. It can't happen. Can't happen, guys. Against this, and it can't happen against the Bears either, by the way.
Especially with Barkley as well.
Yeah, can't happen, man. But let's get to the next question here. Predict Saquon Barkley's stat line, rushing and receiving. Robert, the musician, says. We'll let Antonio start with that one. Give me his rushing and receiving.
But for tomorrow.
Yeah, for tomorrow. Yeah.
So rushing, 1,900. Rushing, I don't know. I'll probably say he breaks the 100 barrier. I'd probably say 124.
I like that.
And then receiving, I'll probably go 75. I think we'll do exactly what the Cowboys are doing now with Elliott. Is they'll run the ball a couple of times. As soon as that stops working, they run a screen, they run an angle route, or they run something like that, something quick and efficient with Elliott, and then it opens them up all over again. So I think we'll see a lot of that. I don't know how much rotation we'll get though. I think we'll see a few other running backs get a shot tomorrow. But yeah, I think 124 on rushing with 1 touchdown, and 70s to 80s on receiving, 1 touchdown again. So
he's got about 200 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. David, what about you, my man?
Big game fan tomorrow.
If he has a big game and we don't turn the ball over, we're going to be happy on Monday night. David, what about you, my man?
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers defense, they were first in sacks last year. They were first in pressures, first in like every category when it comes to pass rush. But they were also third against the run. So they are very good against the run. I'm going to guess that Barkley will have a success in the passing game. So I'm going to say 50 yards rushing, but I actually think he's going to break a long one, maybe on a screen or a short pass. So I'll say 90 yards receiving because I do think one thing that Jason Garrett did really well in Dallas was he got Zeke on those like screen passes. Like you can see it a little bit tonight, but I do think that's going to be a bigger part of the offense because we've definitely struggled in that area on screen passes. So I do think that's going to be a bigger part of the game plan for the Giants, and I think they're definitely going to involve Barkley more in the pass game than Shermer did when he was here as the head coach.
Okay, so you see them struggling. You think they'll commit to the run, but you don't see a big run. You think more of his damage will be in the screen pass and the swing passes coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a big part of the game plan just to mitigate the pressure. They're going to throw a lot of wide receiver screens. They're going to throw a lot of screens to Barkley. So I'm hoping he could break a big one because obviously Pittsburgh's defense is so good.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about Barkley, I think he's really hard to predict because you could go into a game with your mentality, and I agree that this is going to be very hard for us to run against this team, and I think it's going to be hard to run consistently against this team, but he's a home run hitter. And he could get stuck for 40 yards, and then he could break a 70-yard run. And then all of a sudden he ends up with 110. I would much prefer the consistent running. But when you stack the box, which I think Pittsburgh's going to do, I think we all know they're going to do it. Tomlin's come out and said he's going to do it. When you stack the box, if you get past that initial point of attack, he's gone. So all it takes is 1 or 2 holes, and Barkley's off to the races. So I do agree. I think it's going to be hard for the Giants to have a consistent 3.5, 4 yards a carry average because of how much they're going to commit to selling out to stop Saquon Barkley. But I do think he'll break 1, if not 2, very big runs in this football game. Maybe it's in the screen pass element. Maybe it's in the handoff. But I do think he's going to have probably 2 big plays in this game for the New York Giants if they give him the proper amount of opportunity.
Yeah, and I agree with you that even if they do struggle with the run, they got to be, consistently giving Saquon the ball. Because you remember like a couple of years ago, his first ever game was against Jacksonville when they had that really good defense. And then in the second half, he sprung like an 80-yard run. So, anytime he gets the ball in his hands, it's a good thing. And I think, even if, the defense is going to, stop Saquon in the backfield a couple of times, but you got to consistently run the ball. and consistently use play action to keep the linebackers honest. So I think it is important that they, stick to the run, even if they struggle like in the first, couple quarters.
What about you, Harrison? Give me your stat line for Saquon tomorrow.
Yeah, for Saquon, I think, it's important to utilize him in the passing game as well as the run. I mean, obviously we need to run him. We need to run with him at least 20 or 25 times or north of that. Because that's where we win most of our games. And whilst they are third in defense, Pittsburgh, much better we run on them than throw on them. So I would say I think every game Barkley does have a big. He always breaks off that one massive play, at least one. In some games he'll have more than that, but in a game like this, I think maybe just the one. But I would say probably I'm going to go 113 yards on a big amount of carries, and then I think he'll break like a big play in the receiving game, because whilst Steelers are going to be pass rushing, they might send the house on Daniel. He can check it down to Barkley in space, and he can go. Any linebackers that can stay with him, because Dupree's going to be chasing the passer, Devin Bush. We got to figure out ways to draw him out and just get Barkley in space. And I think if we can do that, have Barkley effective in the passing game and the running game, I think that'll be the key to a victory.
100%. Jabroni, give me your stat line on Barkley.
I'm just going to reread Christian McCaffrey's stats from today. 23 attempts, 96 yards, 4.2, 2 touchdowns, caught 3 balls for 38 yards for about 13 a catch. That's basically exactly the same player he kind of looks like. That's who he's always compared to. And those are the type of games we're going to need out of him. Matt Rule being able to put up 30 points in his first game as a Giants fan with a first-year head coach, that excited me. And seeing that he was like, okay, I got a stud running back who is all-time great. Let's get him the ball as much as I can. And I hope Judge does more of the same. And that's who we need him to be. We need him to be Christian McCaffrey. We need him to be all over the field. If there's a 4th and 1 and there's or a 3rd and 1 late in the game or whatever it is, and we need a yard, everyone in the stadium needs to know it's going to Saquon, but yeah, he still gets the yard because we draw up a good play for him or we're able to block for him. Everything's going to run through him. We're going to need multiple scores out of him, but it's really just going to be the amount of touches. Even in the Jets game that was last year, yeah, he wasn't running for almost anything. He had 1 yard all game, but he only had 12 attempts. That's Shermer's fault. Even if the run is not working, or you got to get the ball in his hands somehow. That's on you, because the more you do that, he can hit you for that home run, and then all of a sudden the complexion of the whole game changes.
I completely agree with you on that. When you have a home run hitter like Saquon Barkley, you've got to give him the proper amount of at-bats. And, I know he was banged up in that game. That probably had something to do with it. I still don't think he was 100% if you watched him play in that game. But I agree with you. To me, it's the carries. It's the touches in this game, because he's too talented of a player. If you give him 25, 26, 27 touches, for him not to break a big play or two from within a game. So, to me, it's the touches. If he gets here's what I'll say. I want at least 23 carries. Give me 23 carries, and I think he gets you no less than 80 yards. That's what I want, and hopefully he gets you more. But 23 carries, 85 yards, that's what I'll say. I'll be conservative in my prediction, and I'll go with 50 yards throughout the air on 6 catches. And I think he'll break one big play. He'll have at least a touchdown. But if he has 28 touches, that means you're probably controlling the clock as long as you're not turning the ball over. You're probably moving the chains, and that's the name of the game. I don't need a 150 yard game. I want it. But if he could average 4.5 yards a carry, move the chains, that's the name of this game. Win the time of possession, win the field position battle, and we can get out here with a victory. So I'll go about 85 to 90 yards on the ground. I'll go about 50 yards in the air, about 150 yards from scrimmage, 145, 150 yards from scrimmage, and I'll go with 1 touchdown. But I think he's going to have a good game. But I do think the Giants need to take advantage of the Steelers' defense and they're going to, when they sell out for Barkley. And that could, like we were talking about earlier, give guys like Evan Ingram an opportunity to have a massive game in this game. I could see Ingram having over 100 yards receiving. I really can, if the Steelers are going to sell out against the run. And pick your poison against the Giants. If you're going to do that, it's up to Daniel Jones to make them pay and hit Ingram over the middle, like we were saying, shots up the seam, 15, 20 yards down the field. I don't want the Giants throwing a lot, but when they do, I don't want them throwing 3-yard slants. I want them taking shots down the field. Make them pay for cheating up in the box. Make them pay for being ultra aggressive. Hit them with a screen or hit them deep down the field, down the middle, or on the outside. So I think that's got to be the approach in this game in terms of the passing game. 18 carries and 8 catches. Omkar says that's fair. I want 20. But what's going on there, Bavit? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. And never was a fan of Haskins. The only thing that could stop Barkley from going off is injury and stuffing the run. Well, yeah, last year he got hurt. There's no doubt about it. We're back here, second half starting here. Cowboys have the ball. They lead 14-13.
Big carry from Zeke.
Oh, you God, you're killing me because then I gotta hear it and then I gotta see it.
Okay. I told myself I need to be quiet.
I'm messing with you.
Yeah.
So 14-40 to go.
I'm not messing
Did
with
we see?
I just got the kickoff. I'm so far behind.
Did anyone see? Oh, sorry. You go. Sorry, my bad.
No, I just said I'm behind. That's it.
Yeah. All right. I'm quiet. No.
I'm messing with you.
Did anyone see Isaiah Simmons get absolutely lost against Raheem Mostert on that massive 77-yard play?
He struggled big time.
Shoot, this is why guys like Tana and myself and Kid Blue and Andrew and the Hub, we were all like Andrew Thomas, the offensive line. I thought it was our biggest need. And Simmons, while I thought he was great, I always wanted offensive line. And today, I don't know how Andrew Thomas is going to do, but judging from the offensive tackle play regarding the rookies and from what I saw from Isaiah Simmons, I got to say, without him even seeing him play again, I'm pretty happy with the Andrew Thomas pick.
Yeah, it's one game in. Simmons is definitely. I still think he's gonna be a very good player. But yeah, he looked specifically on that play to Mostert. He looked completely lost, and just like I expect with Thomas, you're going to see rookie struggles. I still think Simmons will be a good player, but at the end of the day, we needed a tackle. You think about this team right now, after Solder moved on, who would have been our tackles? You would have had Cam Fleming on one side. You would have had Matt Baird on the other. I mean, that's not very good. So we needed to draft an offensive tackle in this draft, especially because, License Plate guy said it too the other day when I had him on. Especially being that it was such a strong tackle class, we needed it. We drafted a young quarterback. We drafted a young running back. I think it was the choice all along. I didn't even think it should have been debate. I know that Isaiah Simmons is a talented player, and we are starving for linebackers, and I know that would have been the more popular choice, but the tackle was the necessary choice. So I always thought that that's the way that they were going to go. Let's see what we got here. But go ahead, guys, ask your questions, and we'll feed off it. That's why I can't watch tomorrow live stream. You all are way ahead of my cable. Well, I apologize, Elvis. Yeah, the one thing we're ahead because most of the time we're behind. And I tell people you could pause it if you got DVR. What's going on there?
No.
What's going on there, Rudy? Thanks for popping in. Authentics in the chat. Go check him out, by the way. He's got a Giants channel, too. Expect Deion Lewis to get carries as well. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get that many. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that they use the backup running backs a lot? The Giants have not. That's one thing I haven't liked. They have not used the backup running backs much since Saquon Barkley's been here. They haven't used Saquon Barkley enough either, but they really haven't used the backups really at all. I think Dolman only had 40 carries last year. He didn't have many. Do you think they use the running backs a little bit more in this scheme, being that Judge maybe coming from the Belichick school of thought? Do you think that they use Lewis a little bit more? They rotate a little bit more? Do you think they go with what they've been doing the last 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, watching the Patriots game today, they use all their running backs, and they use them in the pass game a lot. So I think in this game in particular, you might see Lewis out there on third downs and passing situations a little bit more just to spell Saquon since it's the first game. But I think you're right. For the most part, Saquon's going to be more of a bell cow. And but I think in this game, because Deion Lewis is a very good receiver out of the backfield, I think they're going to try to utilize that, try to get him one-on-one with a linebacker or a safety because I think Daniel Jones, like you said before, he's going to throw a lot to Ingram. He's going to throw it over the middle because that's the way he can get the ball out of his hands a little bit quicker. I think he's going to throw a lot of passes to the running backs and the tight ends in this game. Yeah,
I agree with you. I kind of want to watch this game a little bit more. I want to pay more attention. We're getting that. It's really close game. And the Rams got the ball. The Rams got the ball now on their own 15. They're down by 1. 11:24 to go. Looks like Prescott's on the sideline. I think he got rocked by Brockers, I think it was, on that last play. So we're going to keep up a little bit more at the game as we get back from commercial. Maybe I'll even call it a little bit, have some fun. But Go to ask your questions, guys. We'll feed off of it. Is Big Blue Jabroni wearing a stadium buddy? Waterfly wants to know.
I have no idea what that is. No. There's a luchador mask I bought in Mexico City.
You got 2 of them.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, man. I get hot enough wearing a hat for 2.5, 3 hours on stream. I don't know how you wear that.
I got
mask.
a nice ice cold beer right here. I got a fan directly on me.
What are you? What kind of beer are you drinking?
This is a Kronenberg Blanc, French.
Ooh, I've had it. It's good. It's good. You guys beer drinkers? You guys? Antonich, you a beer drinker?
I'm English. What do you think?
What's the beer of choice for you?
I'd probably say between Peroni
that's the
and
best
Moretti. I like my Italian beers.
Yeah, Peroni's my favorite beer.
Yeah.
Love it. What about you, David?
Yeah, I was in a fraternity, so I think I still have a frat liver. I have a very high tolerance, but honestly, I haven't drank in such a long time. But I feel like my tolerance would still be really high. I was known as the guy. We used to have like keg races, and like whichever group of us could finish the keg faster would win, and my team would always win because I did have a high tolerance back in the day. But it definitely had something to do with me being in the frat.
That makes me have to pee just hearing that story.
Go do what you got to do, man. I'm not holding you.
If I was drinking a whole keg all night, oh man, I would be there all day.
I see Chris Hoffman asked this a couple times. Will Parrott start a game this year? Yes. I think he will. I'm going to be honest. Cam Fleming has not been a good offensive lineman throughout the course of his career. There's a reason that he's a swing tackle. So yes, I'd be surprised if Parrott does not. I hope he doesn't, because that means that Cam Fleming's doing a hell of a job, and that means that we haven't had injuries. But I'm going in, I guess, a little bit pessimistic. I don't think Cam Fleming's going to do a great job, and I think at some point in this year, I think Parrott will get an opportunity to step in and get thrown into the fire and hopefully get prepared for the 2021 season or the playoffs if we're doing well. But I do think Parrott's going to get an opportunity this year, whether it be due to injury or due to poor play on obviously not for Thomas. Thomas will play the whole year, but I think at some point Fleming will get benched.
Yeah, and I could also see Shane Lemieux getting in there. If any interior offensive linemen have to miss any time, supposedly he looked really good in training camp. He's a very good run blocker. I think he was actually in the competition at center, but obviously he's never played that position. He does struggle a little bit in pass protection, but all 3 offensive linemen that we drafted are very good run blockers. So I think next year you're going to see Pert in at right tackle. And I think Lemieux will factor in probably at right guard next year if we decide to move on from Zeitler. So I'm excited about the future of the offensive line.
Do you think we could move on from Zeitler? I know we shed a lot of cap space if we do.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely not old. I think he's around the age of 30.
30
but,
31, yeah.
He does have a big cap hit next year. So if we cut him before the 2021 season, I think we'd save $13.5 million. So if we're going to extend Saquon and maybe, finally sign like an elite pass rusher, I think that's an option for us. But I think we're going to have to see like how he plays this year. But I do think that's something that's definitely a real possibility.
Johnny T, I'm going to get to yours in a second, running down the schedule. And the guy, man, thank you so much for the love, man. I'm going to read that in 1 second. Just want to see this play by Goff. Nice. First down there up to the 30-yard line. All right. There's Robert Woods. Robert Woods has been having a game for the Rams.
Yeah.
At least
also not beating them with like 40, 50-yard plays. It seems like anytime that they're driving down the field, it's a 9, 10, 11, 12-play drive, which is nice to see. Hopefully wear these guys out and then later in the game get the strike with this running game.
And I'll tell you what, the weakness, at least, when most people think the weakness, there we go. There's a nice screen pass for 14, still on his feet. Flag is probably coming back. But the weakness for this Cowboys defense has got to be the secondary. I think you could definitely throw on them. So, I think they did a bad job there shoring up that secondary this offseason. Outside of that, they're really strong. The guy, man, thanks so much for love, man. It looks like an illegal man downfield. Thank you so much for love. I appreciate it. He says, so with the Washington front four actually looking like they can cause problems this season, I believe this team can actually start 0-9. Will that cost Judge his job, or will he get a pass because of ghetto trash, bad decisions? Here's what I'll say, man. Judge could go 0-16 this year. He's not getting fired. It's not going to happen. And if it does, I'll flip out. We've gone through 2 coaches in the last 4 years. You cannot then turn and fire another coach. You'd then be asking Daniel Jones to learn 3 different playbooks, more than likely. If you're firing him, unless you're going to make Garrett the coach, and I don't think many Giant fans are going to want Garrett to be the coach. So you'd then be going through 3 different playbooks for Daniel Jones within 3 years. You'd have 3 different head coaches with completely different philosophies. Can't happen. There's no way they go 0-16. Judge keeping his job. He's keeping his job. They're not firing Joe Judge after his first year. Gettleman will be gone. Gettleman will be gone if they go 0-16. Gettleman will be gone if they go anything less. I say 7 wins. He probably keeps his job, but Gettleman will be gone. There's no way. Can you guys see any possibility? 0-16, could Joe Judge lose his job after just 1 year?
Oof, that's a hard. Sorry, my bad. Should we go? Actually, we'll go around, go get Antonis, and then we'll go around the circle. My bad.
If 11, 12 games in, Saquon Barkley says this guy, it doesn't know what he's doing. He's over his skis. If Daniel Jones is out there saying, I see ghosts, and everything's a complete Ben McAdoo type of like wash, like we're that bad, I could see it. I don't see that happening. I think that's 0-9 is very far-fetched. I think they're going to get a couple wins early on, especially with the Bears game coming up and even tomorrow night. But, yeah, if we look where the locker room is just basically said, we don't like this guy, we're not going to play for him, that would be kind of the only way. But if you go 0-16, nobody's safe. That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But you got to give more than 1 year. We've become this dysfunctional organization. We keep flipping coaches. You can't keep doing that because then what coaches are going to want to come here? They're going to, you gave the guy before 2 years, you gave the guy before that 2 years, and then you gave the new guy 1 year. No thanks. I'll go somewhere else. Yeah, we cannot do that. We cannot do that. But Harrison, what about you? What's your thoughts?
Real quick on the beer question. In New Zealand, we're a big. The drinking age is 18 here, so I turn 19 next month. But I would probably say more. It's. Do you guys know what cruise is a thing over there? No. All right. Well,
what is it called?
The cruises. They're like different flavor. The vodka cruises, and then they have
no
different flavors. Well, that's usually what a lot of people do here, but there's a bunch. I will give you my favorite beer, but there's like a bunch of like Spates and Steinlager that are mainly here in New Zealand. So I tried Budweiser the other day because it's the official beer of the Thunder, and
yeah, Budweiser sucks.
It's bad. But yeah, in terms of the game. Wait, shoot, what was the question? I completely forgot.
Joe Judge is his job.
Okay. So first off, there is 0 chance we lose more than we're not losing 4 games. We're winning more than it's 5 and above. There's no way we do lose. And even then, I don't care if it's 3-13 or whatever. We can't fire him. Like you and I, Tanner, we've been saying this for so long. You have to give this Judge Gettleman sort of phase for 3 to 4 years. So you got to really let it play out, because if it's just constant change, look at the Knicks. It doesn't work. You've got to give guys a chance, and like you said, coaches are going to stay away if you're not giving them opportunities. I know it's New York and it's demand for change, but you need to give coaches time. So I think it really just depends on if people buy into that hard-nosed mentality that he's been pushing at practice, which I love. Because that's definitely, like, my dad's a big rugby guy, obviously, because it's like the only sport we care about here. And he reminds us a lot of the All Blacks coach, Steve Hansen. Is just hard-nosed and just no BS, just straight. And if you don't want to run laps, cool, get off the team. If you don't want to buy into our program, that's cool. Don't complain. You're not little 2-year-olds. You're professional men. You can do some push-ups. You can not wear a red jersey. Like, just suck it up. So I think... exactly. I think we just need to keep that. We need to keep the Judge and Gettleman era. I think I'm really worried about us firing Gettleman, but I think, for a good Judge has to be the guy for at least 3 to 4 years. And if he absolutely stinks after 3 or 4 years, then,
there you go.
Nothing.
There you go. He's down to the 1.
Right now.
All right. Down to the 1. All right. There you go. But no,
I
I'll say this about Gettleman. I think Gettleman, and I try to defend Gettleman when I can. He's done some silly things. I think Gettleman's on the hot seat. Yeah, Gettleman could definitely be fired by year's end if the Giants don't produce. But I can't see a reasonable possibility of Judge getting. I don't even want him to be fired after 2 years under any circumstance, but definitely after one. But what about David and Antonis? We'll start with David.
Yeah, I think if the Giants had somehow had a terrible season, like went 2-14 or something, I think Jason Garrett would likely be fired. Maybe Patrick Graham would be fired. They put the blame on the offense or the defense. I do like the fact that Judge is going to be like a CEO and he's not going to have his face in the play call sheet. Like he's going to be able to make in-game adjustments. So I think it's a very low probability that we go 0-9. I think if we had a very bad season, they would end up firing either the offensive or defensive coordinator. I cannot see Judge getting fired after this season, no matter how bad we play. I just think, like you said before, they don't want so much turnover year after year.
Can't do it. Antonis, what about you, my man?
First of all, there's no chance we go 0-16. That's not.
No, I'm that's a hypothetical. I know.
I don't know, man. I find it so hard. I think when you have a guy that's such an unexperienced head coach, and even like you could say he's never been an OC or a DC, he's been a special teams coordinator or a wide receivers coach. So in terms of his experience in, having high responsibilities, he's never really had that much. And the fact that he's come in and he's showed the signs that he's shown and he's won the locker room so quickly and he's installed this winning mentality. And we have a very young roster as well, which all believe in him as well. I think he's shown signs that he will be a great coach, a very, very good head coach as well. And the fact that he's got such talented OC as Garrett as well that believes in him on his side, I think you'll be crazy not to give him another year. I think even if we go 0-16, even if we have a stinker, I think from what we've seen, like the underlying characteristics that he's shown, I think he deserves at least another year just because of that, just because of the character he brings, and just because of the fact that he says the right things. You know what I mean? I feel like he's the type of coach that if we're down by one touchdown or it's a one field goal game, he's the type of coach I want to listen to fire me up to get back on that field and kick some ass, that type of thing. So I want to keep him around as long as I can, to be honest. And I know that's naive to say because how young and unexperienced he is, but I don't know. I just feel like he's when you just see something and you're like, this is a perfect fit. I think that is the case for the New York Giants.
Yeah, I just think we're at a phase now where I think we're starting to turn the corner. I don't think we've turned it yet, but I think we're kind of like, you were on the track and we're not quite at the stretch yet, but we're starting to make that turn around the loop, and that's what this year's about. And we're going to go through our struggles, but at the end of the day, you got to give Judge a real opportunity. The guy's 38 years old. He's inheriting a team that's won 12 games in the last 3 years. We can't set up unrealistic expectations. And I've said this countless times, call it a conspiracy theory, call it for what you will. And I like Gettleman. I would have been completely for getting rid of him because it would have been a completely new head start. You would have had a GM and a head coach on the same timeline when you brought in Joe Judge, so I would have understood it. I think the reason they kept Gettleman was to be the fan base could fall on him. They could say, so it kind of gives Judge a free pass for a year. Everybody could say, Gettleman's got to go. He's the guy. That's where the fan base's venom will go, and he's going to have to take the hit, unfortunately, if we win 3 or 4 games. But I don't think Judge will take the hit this year. I think the fans will realize he's a young coach with a young roster, and it's going to take him a year to get acclimated to things, especially with the shortened offseason, everything that he had to go through. I think Gettleman's going to take the brunt of it. If the Giants win 3, 4, 5 games, I don't think it'll be Judge. I expect Judge to be safe for at least 2. I'm hoping at least 3 years before we even start to talk about that. Independent, man, thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate it. He says, took the day off for the New York Giants-Steelers game. I'll be rooting for the G-men. Which New York Giants players, other than Dimes, will you be watching most closely? All right, I'll answer that. Offensive line as a whole, but mainly Andrew, the tackles, Fleming and obviously Andrew Thomas. You're going up against 2 of the best edge rushers the sport has to offer. You're going up against Watt. You're going up against Dupree. So the offensive tackles have to be on point. They have to play at least decent in this game. And then on the defense, what I'm really looking at, knowing that this is a defense that's going to blitz as much as they're going to, we need good corner play. So I am worried about who's ever on the opposite side of James Bradbury. So I'm looking at that. I expect the Steelers to try to pick on that guy, whoever it is. Whether it's Darnay Holmes, whether it's Isaac Yiadom, whoever they put on that side, Corey Ballantyne, That's what I'm looking at as a Giants fan. Those are the matchups that worry me the most. Also, the middle of the field. Eric Ebron, a talented tight end. We've got Devontae Downs out there. This was a guy that got cut. He's now starting in the New York Giants as the middle linebacker formerly of the Minnesota Vikings. He's a guy that I worry about a bit as well. So in terms of, that's what I'm looking for, guys that I'm worrying about. I'm not really worried about Dexter Lawrence. I'm not really worried about Bradbury. I think Bradbury's a sufficient corner. I'm looking at the tackles on offense. I'm looking at that middle linebacker with Downs, and I'm looking at the second cornerback. That's what I'm worried about going into the game. I think that's where they have us in terms of mismatches in this game. So that's what I'm looking at. Anybody have anything to add to that?
Yeah, one player, I know you've been high on him in the past.
And Nick Gates, by the way. I should have thrown in Nick Gates, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually I think Lorenzo Carter could be the X factor in this game. Because not only do they have Steve Wisniewski, who's like a backup right guard, but their right tackle is Zach Banner, and he's sort of like a project. He's 6'8", 345 pounds. He was kind of like their extra lineman last year. He came in as an eligible tight end, and he's not very good in pass protection. And Carter, he had a great training camp. I know he said the same thing last year, but I think with his athleticism, he could give a guy like Banner a hard time. So I'm hoping he get a pass rush. That's been the biggest issue with the defense. I think the last few years is the pass rush as well as the secondary. But I think Carter, this has to be his like season to finally break out, because last year everyone thought it was going to be his year, and this year I think, supposedly he's looked so good in training camp. I know he had 4 sacks in that like scrimmage, the blue-white scrimmage. So I think he's kind of the X factor in this game. If he can take advantage of a guy like Banner, I think, the Steelers with the rusty Ben Roethlisberger could struggle a little bit.
Yeah, Carter's going to be, by the way, the Cowboys forced to punt. Rams up 6, guys, for anybody who's not watching. I'm sure most of you guys are. Rams up 6 with the ball, 4:22 to go in the third quarter. What are you guys thinking right now?
L for the Cowboys.
Yeah. This could be a hell of a Sunday to open up the year.
Yeah.
But if the Cowboys lose this game, we're in second place.
Yeah. Let's stay there.
Imagine how funny it would be if Dallas and Eagles are down 0-1 first game, and then New York Giants and Washington are up 1-0 first game. Just a bit of dilemma.
Oh, that would be too good.
I think so too, but it's just that it's funny how everyone's been saying, the Washington and New York Giants are going to get a maximum of 4 wins each.
Yeah. A lot of people have
and
us
we're
like
the ones on top.
4-12. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
I think the biggest for me personally, for what in the game that we're going to be seeing on Monday, I think the biggest X factor, I think Carter is the breakout guy for the year. I think the X-Man, O'Shane Zimenez, I'm interested to see how much he's going to be on the field, how much he's going to play, and how much of an impact he makes. So for defense, I think it's Zimenez, and I'll also be interested to see how Logan Ryan fits in. But offensively, I'm really obviously the offensive line. Like Andrew Thomas is going to be the guy and Danny Dimes are going to be my eyes are glued to the TV on those guys. But because Barkley's going to get his, we know that. But I think the guy I'm looking for most on offense is actually Darius Slayton. I'm really interested to see if he can take that big step this year to be our number 1 guy. And I think they've got guys like Mike Hilton, Joe Hayden, and so they're solid corners. So I think we're going to see really what Slayton's made of, and I'm really hoping he makes a big impact. So he's a guy who I'm really going to be watching this week.
Good call. What about you, Jabron? Anybody to add to that?
I think early on, especially with the new offense, new defense, everything, you're going to be really concerned with them like molding and working out. And like later in the season is a lot of our winnable games. We'll play Dallas then. We'll play the Eagles then. The Browns look like crap. I think the Cardinals, even though they went 1-0 this year, or to start this year, they're not going to be as good as they look. And I don't need Andrew Thomas to be the best pass blocking left tackle right now. If he gets beat a couple times tomorrow, I'm not going to lose it. But I do need him to be good in the run game. I do need him to be ahead of the screenplays, for him to be turning the corner so Barkley can get through. That's what I'm going to be looking for. That's what I want. I don't know exactly what the question was, because I have no idea how you do this. I'm trying to watch the game now that it's getting a little bit better, and it's impossible to keep up with this. So I give you all the credit in the world for that. But that was what I was going to say.
Yeah, no, that's you answered it. It was, it was what players you're looking for in the game, and you answered it pretty well. But yeah, it is challenging. I think a lot of people, they watch me when I call a game and they think, oh, why isn't he? I get it all the time. Why isn't he answering my question? Blah blah blah. Oh, it's not easy to multitask,
especially now the game's getting a little bit better. The Rams
yeah.
are looking good. This is going to be a good start, and I'm like, wait, what?
What about
Jason,
Oh, sorry, Tanner.
No, go ahead.
We forgot about Antonis. We got to hear his breakout.
Yeah. I thought I started with Antonis. That's right. Antonis, what about you? Who are you looking at in this game?
I think I'm not one person that I'm really excited for is Bradbury, because I think I'm really scared of Juju. Juju on his day is a very, very dangerous weapon to have on your team. So I think Bradbury Juju is going to be a very good way to open up our year. But on offense, I think Evan Ingram number one, because I have him in my fantasy. And
that's a good reason. That's a good reason.
And number two, I just think he's so good. He's one of the best tight ends on the ball. He's one of the best tight ends after the catch, like running after the catch. So I think that's one thing that's gonna, that can be a big problem for Pittsburgh as well. So that's something that I'm going to be looking out for sure.
Yeah, and Goff just threw a pick, which sucks. But Evan Ingram. I got Evan Ingram on all my fantasy teams, so good call there. Maybe you watch my channel too much. Maybe I influenced you on that. But I think Evan Ingram's gonna have a big year. So I really got my eyes out for Ingram this year. The tight end in general. Healthy. Yeah, and if not, make sure you get Caden Smith on that waiver wire right away. So because I think he fits into the system as well. I just want to get here to Jason, man. Thanks for the love. He says Maris should be on the hot seat. Yeah, the problem is can't really put the owner on the hot seat. He's the root of all of our problems over the last decade. He has become James Dolan-esque. I'm not going to put him on that level. I mean, James Dolan to me is on another level. But you know what? I don't give the owner a pass. I say it all the time. 2015 was a major mistake. Deciding to keep Jerry Reese and firing Tom Coughlin. They should have either started from scratch or just gotten rid of Reese and kept Coughlin. That was a big mistake, and Mara had a lot to do with that. So I'm not going to give him a free pass for that. And he's a major reason for why we're in the situation that we're in, for the simple reason you gave yourself a GM and a head coach that are on different timelines. You brought in a new young head coach with McAdoo, and then you had a GM that knew he had to save his job. You had just fired the head coach. He went out and spent a boatload of money, and then it put us in cap hell within a year. So, Mara is a major reason why we're in the situation we're in. There's no doubt about it. I know a lot of people don't like to smear the Mara name. He's got a great reputation. Mara did a bad job in recent years with the New York Giants. There's no doubt about it. And the other thing, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this, another thing that I haven't really liked about Mara recently is how outspoken he's been. You're the owner. I don't need you to go to the media and say, I'll paraphrase a bit, but he's basic. And I get that you're the owner and you want to win, but there's a way you say it and there's a way you don't. And he's basically come out with the ultimatum. If they don't win, heads are going to roll. And you don't want to put that in the head of your general manager. You don't want to put that in the head of your head coach, because then they're going to try to save their job immediately. They're not going to try to build for the way they should be, the way that they have been. And to their credit, they maintain that. But I don't like that Mara's come out and been so outspoken with the media the way he's been in recent years.
Exactly.
I agree. I think Gettleman was actually really close to being fired last year. And the only reason he was able to keep his job, he was able to convince the powers that be to keep his job, was Daniel Jones looked very promising as a rookie quarterback. And that was a risky draft pick. Obviously, a lot of people had him going much later in the draft, and it looks like it was a good decision. So I do think, like you said before, I think Judge is safe, but I do think if the Giants don't show like drastic improvement or at least get to 7-9, I think Gettleman is finished after this season. And he might be, he definitely kept Reese for a couple of years too long, but I think that the same thing could be said about Gettleman if it ends up that, we're not as good as maybe we think we are this year.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen Johnny T ask this a bunch, so I'm going to get to that before I get the diehard super chat. He says, why don't you guys run through the schedule quickly? All right, real quickly. I'm just going to say win for all 16 games. Otherwise, this will take forever. Why don't you guys run through the schedule quickly, do a win-loss comparison amongst the five of you? All right, real quick. Week 1, what do you guys have? Win or loss?
Win.
So we got everybody says win. I'm going to say loss. I'm a pessimist. Week 2.
I'm about to leave, bro.
I got to be honest. Now, come game night.
Yeah, no. Fair enough.
Come game night, I'm probably going to say win. Yeah, once the game starts. But week 2, Chicago Bears in Chicago. What do you guys got?
Win.
That's a dub.
I got another win.
I'm going to go win on that. So you guys all got 2-0. I got 1-1. Week 3, 49ers. Now, the 49ers didn't look so hot today. They're going to be traveling here. Anybody have a win on that one?
I have a loss. I still think San Francisco is a very talented team. Garoppolo did not look good today, but I still think that's a loss. They match up well with us. They have good defense. I don't see us winning that game.
Also, their running game is very good, and I think that's one thing we've struggled with. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the L on that one.
Anybody else? Any wins are here? We got all else.
Yeah.
I'm going out on that as well. So I got 1 and 2. You guys got 2 and 1. Week 4, Rams. Rams playing pretty well right now against the Dallas Cowboys. We got to travel to LA. Real quick, what do you guys got?
I'm going to say win. I'm not confident in Goff. That's why I think they're going to end up they're winning now. But, yeah, I'm going to say win.
Nick Gates is going to dominate Aaron Donald. That's a lock, and that's going to be
So is that a win, Jabroni?
Yeah, 3-1 to start the season.
Jolly?
I'm going 2 and 2.
2 and 2. You know what? I'm gonna keep it fun. I'll give us a win there. I'll say we come out with a win. I'll say 2 and 2 to start the first 4. Dallas Cowboys week 5. I think it's in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's in Dallas.
Oh, that's hard.
I'm going to say a loss.
2 and 3.
I think they're a really tough matchup for us with their receivers, and they've always given us so much trouble. I don't think we've beaten them since 2016. I think the last 3 years they've swept us. So I'm going to say a loss for that one.
Yeah.
I think we beat Dallas, but not here. I think we beat them at home later in the season.
Week 17. So here you got the loss.
Yes.
So we've all got a loss here? 2 and 3. Week 6, Redskins.
3 and 3.
W.
We're going W's here? I'll go W. We'll go 3 and 3.
I don't care if they have Chase Young. They're the Redskins. They suck.
Week 7, Eagles, Thursday Night Football in Philadelphia.
4 and 3.
That's an L.
I'm going to say win.
I'm gonna say win as well.
I think with their offensive line issues, they're definitely beatable, and they don't really have any weapons on offense. That's scary. I think Miles Sanders will help a lot if he's healthy, but I'm gonna say win.
Okay, and you got to win too, Antonis?
Yeah, I got to win. I just think that one of our biggest problems last year is that there's so many games that we lost out in the fourth quarter where we just didn't have the gas to go the whole way, or we lost by like 1 touchdown. And I just think with the new winning mentality that we have now with Joe Judge as our head coach, I think that's almost been eliminated. So I think Eagles are one of the teams that are going to have to suffer from our new playing style.
Harrison?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, we nearly beat them last year with Eli, and then overtime happened. But I gotta go out. Like we just can't beat them there. Like we never can when they've got those midnight black jerseys on. We just can't ever beat them. So I think we beat them at home, but I can't see us winning in Philadelphia. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
I agree.
When
I
I see it happen, I'll change my mind. But
and it's on Thursday night. And it's on Thursday Night Football, where the home team usually has an even bigger advantage.
Exactly.
So I agree with you. I got us at 3 and 4. But maybe if the team looks the same way it does now, but we don't know. The offensive line may be healthy by that. We don't know. Jabroni, what about you?
I think that's unfortunately another loss. I would love to see us get a win on the road in the division outside of Washington, but I do think we're going to do well in the division. I think we're just going to do most of our damage at home.
So 3. Okay, so I think David and Antonis are 4 and 3. The top 3 of us are 3 and 4. Next up, you've got the Bucks on Monday Night Football, I believe it is. Bucks Monday Night Football in New Jersey. What do you guys got?
This secondary is too young for Tom Brady. I think he's going to pick us apart, unfortunately. And I think JPP has a sack, does some sort of dance on us, but unfortunately, I have us losing there.
Yeah.
I was actually more impressed with the Bucks defense today than offense. I thought they made some plays on defense. They do have some decent pass rushers, but I don't think their offensive line is very good. And obviously Tom Brady is not mobile at all. So I do think we're going to win that game. I think it's going to be close, but I
beat him last year.
So you guys said 5 and 3. Jabroni, you said loss, right?
Yeah.
Antonis.
I'm going loss. I just think by then their offense is going to start gluing together and everything's going to start looking good because their defense was amazing today. Only thing that let them down was that they just couldn't string things together on the offense. And I think come week 4 or 5, they're gonna start stringing things together, and I think we'll struggle. So I'm gonna go. I think, what am I, 4-4 now?
I think you're
4-4.
I think you're
Yeah,
4-4. I
4-4.
could be wrong on that, but I think you are. Yeah, you're 4-4. Harrison, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, I have to go L. Just their offense. I think Leo Fournette, I think, was an incredibly really good under the radar addition. I know he didn't do much today, but I just think they're Brady, Gronk, Godwin, and Evans. Godwin, I love. Then they've got Shady, McCoy, Ronald Jones, Leo Fournette, and our defense isn't that swell, in case anyone hasn't realized. So I got to go L.
I'm gonna give you. I'm going L, but I'm gonna tell you one factor that I think gives us a chance. They're coming from Vegas. They're playing in Vegas the week before. We have an extra 4 days to prepare because we're playing on Thursday Night Football. They're playing, I think, either Sunday or Monday. I don't remember, in Vegas. So I'll throw that little tidbit in there. But I agree with everything that you guys said. I think by that point, Brady's acclimated to the offense. I think that they have two great coaches, both on the offensive and defensive side. I think the Bucs are really good. And we don't play well on Monday night historically. So I am going to go with the loss there. I'm going to go 3-5. I think David's got 5-3. I think the top of us got 3-5, and Antonis got 4-4, and almost another pick. They're going to have to punt, though.
Yeah.
Next up, I think it's – who do we play week 9? Is it the Skins? I can't remember.
Yes.
We play the Skins
In
week
Washington.
9? All right, let's get out of the way. I think we all said sweep. Let's be optimistic. Did we say sweep?
5-4.
Obviously.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go with the sweep, even though the Skins look great today. I don't know if that'll happen, but we'll be optimistic fans. David's
Haskins
got
through one.
Top Row's got 4-5, Antonis got 5-4, David's got 6-3. Week 10 before the bye, we play the Eagles again, I believe.
Now host the Eagles.
Now we're hosting the Eagles. Yeah.
There we go. Start getting a little run here. That's another W.
We got a W.
Yeah, I don't see us sweeping the Eagles. I do think they're going to get their act together a little more. If Lane Johnson comes back.
That's a roughing the kicker.
Way.
Was that automatic first down?
Yeah, but I don't know if they called it because they threw the flag before.
Oh, false start. False start.
Oh, you're killing me, man.
Move it back.
Okay, so it sounds as if you guys were going to win here on this game.
I'm going to go loss, actually.
You're going to go loss.
I think we'll win the first game against the Eagles and lose the second game.
Oh, you had to win the first time. Okay.
Yeah, I got the opposite of that.
You're 6-4. Antonis, who do you like there?
I'm going Giants.
6-4 for Antonis. Harrison?
Yeah, I think it's a W for us. We win finally against the
And
Eagles.
I think Jabroni said win. So we're all 5-5 going into the bye. Antonis is 6-4 and David's 6-4. Then we got the bye. Then we come out. Who do we play the first week out of the bye?
The Bengals.
The Bengals. We
At
got to beat
Cincinnati.
the Bengals off a bye. Got to beat the Bengals off a bye. This is, at this point in the season, this is the most important game, in my opinion. I want to be in the hunt. I want to be on the little box of Fox. I want us to have at least some sort of coverage where you have to talk about us, and then we have to win this game.
I just want to make sure I get the super chat. I'm going to lose it. Dyer, man, thanks for love. He says, for those wanting Trevor Lawrence, are you up for another 3 to 4 years of a rebuild? You're lying to yourself if you say yes. I was about to lose it in a comment, so I want to make sure I got that. I don't want him, yeah, because that's going to completely ruin the rebuild. I don't think any of us.
Everybody,
I don't think any of us are rooting for that.
We're not ready to get rid of this jersey yet.
Yeah, but so you said I agree with you. I think we have to beat the Bengals off the bye at Cincinnati. I know, but rookie quarterback, I think we're gonna win that game. I got us at 6-5.
He did look quite good today, though.
He did look good.
Burrow.
He had some moments.
I
have a great offensive line, though.
He blew it. He's a bust.
So we're all going win. We're all going win here.
I'm going win.
I'm sorry. I got an L.
You got an L. Okay, so 6-5.
All right, hear me out. I think there's always those games in the shoes like, yeah, that's a gimme game. And I feel like our defense, bro, I feel like that could be a Burrow coming out. I hate Burrow. I think he might be. I love Tua, but I think it could be a coming out game for him, and he could just destroy. It's controversial, but you got to predict the unpredictable.
I don't think anything's
right.
I don't think anything's controversial. The Giants, we can't take anything for granted. They're on the road. If you want my honest opinion, we're probably not sweeping Washington the way they look today, but I'm trying to be optimistic, and I think we could. But they have just as likely of a possibility as beating us as we do them. They look like they have a good defense, but I don't think that's crazy. But I'm going to go with the win there because we have the bye, the extra week to prepare. So I will go 6-5. Harrison's got 5-6. Jeroni's got 6-5. What about you two?
I'm 7
Yeah, I'm gonna go win.
I think we take the win.
So 7-4, 7-4. Now it gets brutal. The last 5 games, we've got. Let's go over them real quick. Well, I know we've got the Browns at home, Arizona at home, the Ravens on the road, the Cowboys at home, and the Seahawks. Just to wrap it all up, out of those 5, how many wins do each one of you guys see?
We beat the Browns and then we lose the rest.
So you had us at 8-8.
I completely agree with Antonis. That's exactly what I have.
So you have us at
6
and 10, and David.
Yeah, I actually agree with Antonis. I think we're going to beat the Browns, but I think the Cardinals are a tough matchup for us. They have such a fast team on offense. I feel like they could exploit our slower linebackers on defense. The Seahawks are going to be such a tough game. Ravens, I don't see us winning that. And Dallas to end the season, I'm going to say we could beat Dallas the last game.
Yeah, I think we could too.
I give us 2 wins.
So what do you got us at 9 and 7?
Yeah, I have us 9 and 7.
And Big Blue, what about you, buddy? Out of those last 5,
Let me paint a picture for you. Dak Prescott.
Before you paint the picture, I don't want to lose this one either because I got 4 comments till I lose it. Eric, thank you for love. I appreciate it. Let's hope the Giants could get this win tomorrow night. I think we're all hoping for that. And let's get a W, Eric. Hopefully you're there for the stream. We have a good time. Go ahead, paint your picture.
Dak Prescott goes into an NFC East rival in Week 17, and he has to win the game to get into the playoffs, and he plays horrible. I feel like I've seen this before. I feel like this is what Dak Prescott does. I think Game 17, division, playoff spot, whatever it is, on the line, and him asking for $50 million a year lays a duck out there. The Giants steal the game, and then we're a playoff team, and it might stop there. But the ship is going to get turned around this year. You need to have one of those breakout years. I don't believe in winning 2 games, 4 games, 6 games, 8 games, 10. I believe once you got the ship right, it all gets right quick. It's what Buffalo did a couple years ago. It's what
49ers
changes so quick.
It's what the Niners did last year.
Exactly. It just like that, you turn a switch, and all of a sudden you're a good team. And I think the Giants can be a good team this year.
So you got 8 and 8, I think. You said 2 wins?
8 and great.
8 and great. And Justin, man, thank you so much for love. I'll give you my final 5. He says, I have 3 jerseys. Which one should I wear? Cruz, Jones, Barkley, or that's 4 jerseys.
4.
Cruz, Jones,
He said
Barkley.
4. He corrected himself later. In the
He
chat.
did. Okay. I think you got to go with one of the guys that are on the team. I think Barkley's the most important guy in this game. So I'm going with. I think you should wear the Saquon jersey. What about anybody else? Anything to say on that?
Yeah. Real quick, I've got a class at 3 and it's 2:42 here, and I live like 20 minutes away from uni, so I'm gonna.
You get out of here. I don't want you missing your class.
Yeah, I just got to say, real quick, I would say wear the Jones jersey, back your quarterback. But I just want to say
before you leave, Harrison, and I want to make sure you're not late.
Thank
you for being such a great supporter of the channel. Thank you for coming on, and I'd love to have you back on. You're a great guy, great subscriber, and thank you for the shirt that you got me too. By the way, I've been meaning to tell you that on stream, so thank you for that as well.
That is all good. Thank you so much for having me. It's always the coolest. Me and Antonis have been talking about this all week. We've been so excited. So, thank you so much for having me on. Big Blue Jabroni, David, Antonis. It was so awesome. That was a really great group. So, definitely later in the season, probably later on, have for more people on. But, thank you so much. It was absolutely awesome, and can't wait to come back another day. So, thank you so much.
Had an absolute blast, man. Get to your class and
Take care, man.
Have a good one, my man.
Sweet.
Have a good one,
guys.
Man. All right, buddy.
Bye. Enjoy the game tomorrow.
So real quick, I think I had 6 wins going into the last 5. I want to say we're going to win 2. I want to be ultra optimistic and say we beat the Cowboys. I'm going to say we win one of those last 5 because I have us at 6 or 7 wins. So I'll go 7 wins, 7 and 9. That's my breakdown of the schedule. I don't want to go with unrealistic expectations, but my expectations may change throughout the season. So there you go. I got us at 7 and 9. David had us at 9 and 7, and I think Antonis and Big Blue Jabroni both had us at 8 and 8. So we're between 7 and 9 wins. I've consistently said 6, 7 wins, 8 or 9 wins if everything breaks right. That's the way I look at the New York Giants season. Maybe 4 wins if everything breaks wrong in terms of injuries, stuff like that. But I'm going to have us around 6 or 7 wins. I'll have us at 7. And Eric, thank you for love. I appreciate it. Do you think the Giants will finally commit to the run and give Barkley 25 plus touches? Listen, I say it every single week, Eric. And when you have a running back and when you build the offensive line the way we've built it in this draft, and when you have a running back as talented as Barkley, it's a no-brainer. And I'm going to say yes. And I'm not going to just say it because of the defense we're playing. I really think that's Joe Judge's philosophy. I really think Joe Judge wants to be that guy that commits to the run and does not get away from the game plan. So I do think that. They're not going to do it every week. Like he said, they're going to do it based on their opponent. They're going to change their offense around. But I think in matchups that they feel they have to commit to the run, they're going to stick to it. I really honestly believe that. I don't think Judge gets away from the game plan. I don't know if he has 25 carries, but I think he has over 20. I think they do commit to the run in this football game. Yes. I could say that pretty confidently.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the way we're building our offensive line, we have great run blockers. Nick Gates is very good with his run blocking. Andrew Thomas, obviously, Will Hernandez. Zeitler was actually the best pass blocking guard, but he's very good, in the run game as well. And I think that's the way we're building our team. I think we want to kind of emulate the Titans from last year, where we can just,
I don't mean to interrupt you. Did they just go for it on fourth down and they came up short?
It's 4th and 3. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because I go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, David, because they're going to commercial break. I think maybe they turned them over on downs.
Yeah, I just think it's important for us to get out to early leads so we can utilize the play action more. We could stay a little more balanced. I think for a team like ours, that's like a young football team, to build confidence, it's going to be so important, especially tomorrow night, to get out to an early lead where we can really keep. If our defense could keep us in games, we can, I think, run the ball a little bit more and have more of a balanced attack.
What a bum.
Yeah, so the chat is saying that they did. They went for it on fourth down. I am now going to turn the last 10 minutes. We're Giants fans. We're going to get into this game. We're going to turn our attention to the game. I'm going to answer these last couple of super chats. We're going to watch the end of this game. We're going to hope for a Cowboy loss. The Rams just turned them over on down. They got the ball in their own territory. We got about 10 and a half minutes to go. We're going to experience the Cowboys loss as Giants fans. Let's be optimistic here. Let's get a Rams win, get the Cowboys and Eagles off to an 0-1 start. Nothing would be better. And Bernardo, man, thanks for love. I appreciate it. I know I've said it before, but I am so nervous about having Valentine out there on Juju, Deontay Johnson. You should be. I think every Giant fan should be. I mean, we saw what Valentine did last year. Obviously, we're trying to go on optimistic and hope he can improve this year. But Valentine got used and abused last year. And Claypool's a major mismatch at 6'4" if he's matched up on him. So I think you should be. I think that's definitely the Achilles heel of this defense going into the year, due to the fact that Baker, obviously, what happened with him, and Beal opted out, and we're definitely thin at that position. So I think everybody in this chat is probably nervous at that second cornerback spot, and hopefully they prove us wrong and they exceed expectations. That's all. As a fan, that's what you got to hope for, man.
I could see. Do you guys think Bradbury's going to shadow Juju? Because that's on the Panthers, he would always follow the number one receiver like Julio and DeAndre Hopkins. He actually did pretty decent against last year. I don't know. Like if he goes in the slot, do you think he would even follow?
That was going to be what I was going to say. Juju traditionally, if you look at his numbers, he does the majority of his damage in the slot. I think 2 years ago, he had the most catches in the slot in football. So with that being said, I would actually say no. I don't think that they would shadow him. I could be wrong, but I don't think Bradbury will cover him in the slot. Maybe Logan Ryan would cover him in the slot, but I would actually say no. I don't think they spy him with Bradbury.
Yeah, I can see that
if you have a guy following a guy, your defense depends on where he is going to be lined up. I think week one, trying to show these guys an entire defensive scheme, they don't want them having to pick up the playbook on the fly. I think they're going to want to call the play in, and everyone's going to know exactly what they need to do for this play. I think you can have a guy follow once he's been there for a while and everyone kind of understands his role, but I think week one, he's going to see Juju a lot, but I don't see he's going to travel for that reason.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think he's going to spy him. Danny, man, thanks for love. I appreciate it. Giants win 24-17. Salute from Stockton, California. Keep us in your prayers. That's right. You got the fires going on over there. The wildfires are crazy here. Salute. Yeah, man. Be safe out there, man. Definitely, man. The videos I've been seeing in California has been insane. Have you guys seen that? It looks like it's like an orange sky. It's crazy, man.
It's like thousands of acres or something crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And Blue Collar, man, thank you. Blue Collar says, does OBJ miss Eli yet? It was fun keeping up with OBJ today because OBJ, I think, had 3 catches for 22 yards. And I was jokingly saying, who has more yards this year? Does Daniel Jones run for more yards or OBJ catch for more yards? every time I see OBJ have a bad game, I smile because it makes me think we won the trade. So far it's been a disaster since Beckham's left the Giants, and if he has another bad year this year, all the people that complain about that trade, I don't see how you could complain. The guy hasn't produced since he left the New York Giants. Hasn't been the same player, in my opinion, since he really sustained that injury, or injuries, I should say. So I think it was a good trade. I'm going to continue to say that it was a good trade.
And if you remember when Daniel Jones was drafted, Baker Mayfield said, "It blows my mind that they would draft Daniel Jones at number 6. Sometimes teams overthink it." Meanwhile, I think Jones is a better quarterback at this point. So, it was weird at the time for like a quarterback to talk about one of his peers like that. So, It's definitely karma.
And CD, man, he says they turned it over on downs, Chris. I appreciate the love, man. Thank you very much. And that was good. Maybe we'll get a win here. 3rd and 4. Big play coming up here for the Rams. I just want to make sure I read all these. Jason says, our division is at a crossroads. To me, the Eagles and Cowboys are falling. And after this week, I think it's possible we could compete for the division. I definitely agree on the Eagles. I'm not going to say that on the Cowboys yet. I still think the Cowboys have a lot of talent. And they may take a couple of weeks to get adjusted with the new coaching staff and everything else. But I do agree with you on the Eagles. I think the Eagles are on the way down. I think we lost Big Blue Jabroni. Hopefully he comes back in. But, so we'll see. But I definitely agree on the Eagles. I think the Eagles are on the way down, not just for this year, but for the future with their cap situation and everything else. I think we're on the way up. But let's turn our attention to the game here. Antonis, we got the Rams at mid. You got the game on, I assume, right?
I got the game on, but I'm a bit behind you guys. I'm
no, you're gonna hear us celebrate.
Yeah.
Rams got it at mid. I'm gonna call a play here. Rams got it at midfield here. Goff coming out under center, 2 wide set. He's got Akers in the backfield from the 48. Turns, hands to Akers. Akers spins out of a tackle. He's gonna bust it out to the left tackle. He'll pick up 4. Good run there. 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 6. So just wind down the clock, guys. Keep giving it to Akers. Wind down the clock. 8:49 to go.
I thought Akers was a great draft pick for them because at Florida State, he had a really bad offensive line, but he still produced. And I have him on a lot of my fantasy teams. So.
I said it, guys, before this game started when I was doing my picks. You look at the Cowboys last year on the road. They didn't beat anybody. They beat the Giants. They beat the Skins. And they beat the Lions without Matt Stafford. They lost to the Jets and the Bears on the road. And the Bears on the road. And I said to myself, why am I not going to pick the Rams here? Because the Rams, I still think, are a good team. Last year, everybody forgets they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl again, but I still think they're at least an average team. And Dallas has shown in the past that they don't do well on the road. Not to mention they got a new head coach. I thought that this was a good game for the Rams to knock off the Dallas Cowboys, and we're 8 minutes away from them hopefully doing that.
Do you think they have to score a touchdown here? I would feel confident if they could just get a field goal.
Get a field goal. Chew up 4 more minutes, get a field goal. I mean, obviously I want the touchdown, but third is a big play here. 3rd and 2 from the 40. You're kind of in no man's land if you don't get this. They probably go for it.
Yeah, I think they should go for it.
Sean McVay, he loves to go for it on 4th down.
We got it. Doesn't matter. We got
That was big. Needed that.
Flag. Oh, God.
Oh, take it back. Run it again.
Now they might punt if they don't get this.
That's the worst feeling in the world, man, when you're so excited. You get a big first down, and then you look down on the screen and it says flag. You're like, oh.
Yeah. I'm at the point, like, when the Giants make a big play, I'm always, like, apprehensive. I'm looking for that yellow, and then like, you get happy about it.
Right.
It seems like it's all the time.
Or they could challenge it.
Yeah.
It looks like a block I think it's on the defense. I think it's there's going to be a first down. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's on Robert Woods. Never mind. That's a bad penalty. 3rd and 7 now.
And there was a holding?
Well, I think it was a block in the back.
Yeah, he didn't need to do that. I don't think it would have mattered in the play.
Nope. It might have. It would have been close, but you're right. It obviously would have been better off not doing it. So now you got what, a 3rd and is that a 10-yard penalty or 5-yard penalty? I'm
gonna say 10-yard.
3rd and 10. So yeah, I think it was a 10 at the spot of the foul. 7:22 to go here. Big player for Goff coming up.
I could see them going for like a 7-yard route and then going for it on 4th.
I agree. If they could pick up 7, that ain't happening.
No, now they're.
Oh, we might be getting overtime here, guys. 7 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. They're set to punt it away.
Yeah, I feel like if they just had a field goal there, that would have been game over. But
one more first down would have at least just killed off a couple more minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Antonis, how long have you been watching the Giants again?
Just under 5 years now.
5 years. I forget. You told me last time.
Oh, poor soul.
What made you? Yeah, poor soul is right. What made you choose the Giants? Eli Manning
What
was
made me choose the Giants?
Yeah.
I started playing American football, and I got to the decision that I need to pick a team as well. So I was just looking at a team. I didn't want a team that was too good. I didn't want to be one of those gold diggers. So I just love the Giants. They have a lot of history. They had Eli Manning. I think they just drafted OBJ at the time as well, and he just made that tremendous catch, and it was all over Twitter. And I was like, all right, Giants it is.
Yeah.
And then I've just fallen in love ever since. I don't know why. I wasn't really taking it that seriously at first, and then I'd watch a game, and then I watched 2 games, and then we signed Saquon Barkley, and then I got addicted.
Yeah.
what position did you play when you played American football?
I play running back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Be like the
so,
next Sandro Platzkummer.
Yes.
Nah.
Platts-
I unfortunately I've torn my ACL, so no American teams will be looking at me anytime soon.
I think Platzkummer tore his ACL, didn't he? I remember reading that he, not recently, when he was younger. He had a few major injuries. I remember reading that. And he almost ended his career when he was like 16, 17. And then he bounced back. Yeah, I remember reading that. But he's a guy you're kind of rooting for. Obviously, but he can't. The rule is he can't even be on the team this year. He's got to be a practice squad for the whole year.
Yeah, it's nice to have like a scout team running back like that, though. They could use him on the scout team, and then maybe he could develop into something next year. Because his highlights, he looks ridiculous in Europe from last year. And like Austria supposedly is the second best league. I think Germany has the best league in Europe, and then Austria's league.
By far. By far, Germany.
Yeah.
I saw King Trizzy write this a million times. You're not supposed to spam in the chat, but I'll read it because he's a good subscriber of mine. He wanted to get his question read. How did you guys feel about Cam Newton's debut game? I mean, Cam Newton played well. I think he had 70 yards on the ground. I'm not surprised. I think Bill Belichick's a mastermind. I don't think it matters. As long as you have some talent, Bill Belichick's going to fit the offense around the player's skill set. And that's what he did today with Cam Newton. I think he's going to continue to do that. And I think the Patriots are going to win at least 9 or 10 games. He's a brilliant head coach. He finds ways to win with the players he has. And it's why I said, even with losing Brady, they're still going to make the playoffs, or they're still going to compete to make the playoffs, because that's what Belichick's done his entire career. He did it with Brady. Brady was a 6th-round pick. Wasn't a guy that had tremendous, ability coming in with all those teams that passed on him. And every player that the guy brings in, he turns into he gets the most out of him. So he got the most out of Brady. He's going to get the most out of Newton. So I'm not that surprised by it. Newton played well. I think he's only going to get better as he gets more used to the players around him.
Yeah, and I think McDaniels is one of the best offensive coordinators. Like I watched a lot of that game, and they had a lot of like designed runs for Cam where he'd do like the RPO, or he would just run the ball near the goal line. So I think it's going to be good.
There's a run there for Zeke off right tackle for about 3 yards. Dire Giants fan says, Dire Giants fan, you're the man, dude. He says, Antonis, if you want, DM me on Twitter or Instagram, and I'll send you a DJ jersey. He was the guy that gave me this DJ jersey at the Giants game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, Dyer's the friggin' man. Great supporter of the channel. Big player coming up for Dak. 2nd and 7. Takes the snap out of the gun, looks right, comes back. There you go. 3rd and 5.
Talking about Cam Newton, by the way, because I put a lot of thought into this, because I've actually bit the bullet on him, and I've got him on my fantasy. I just think that the reason I got him was it was round 5. It was him and Jared Goff, and I ended up getting both of them. But I just think that Cam Newton's taken that big pay cut. He's got a point to prove. It's a make or break for Cam Newton now. Like, if he doesn't have a good season, I think you'll start seeing his career decline very quickly, and I don't think you'll see a lot of teams put trust in him. And I just think that with Bill Belichick, which will get, as you said, he'll get the best out of him. He's the type of player that that he thrives under pressure. He's such a hard worker. He looks for these responsibilities. So I just think as it said, he's a match made in heaven for me.
Yeah, I agree. And Dyer says, "Well, no, I don't think you were. I know you're not joking, Dyer, Giants fan. He's serious. He will give you a Daniel Jones jersey. I know you.
I'm pretty sure, man. I'll hit him up. I'll hit him up. Thank you very much.
Yeah. But as far, I think Newton will do fine. You know, it may take him a couple of weeks to really get going, and they don't have the best of weapons. But if you look at Newton over the course of his career, did they rule us a fumble? By the way, if they did, I think it'll get overturned. I think it'll be an incomplete pass. But if you look over the course of his career, Newton's never really had unbelievable weapons. He's used the tight end. He's a weapon in himself. So I think he's actually a really good fit for that team. A team that kind of lacks talent at the wide receiver position. He will make the wide receivers better with his ability to be a threat in the running game. So I think it was a great fit. It might have been the best free agent acquisition pickup this entire offseason in terms of for the money and the impact that he's going to have on that football team. I think it's a good fit, man. I really do. Cam Newton's still a talented quarterback.
I still think they're going to win the division. I think Belichick's just going to figure out a way to win without Brady.
Yeah, he'll use the Kraft cameras at every game.
Yeah.
Find a way to cheat. But no, but the Bills looked pretty good today too, though. Josh Allen looked really good against the Jets, but still looked really good. Yeah,
I think on paper the Bills are better, but I would not bet against Belichick. And I think, like you said, Newton is a really good fit for that offense because, like in Carolina, he always used to throw to the tight ends, the slot receivers, the running backs. So I feel like he's going to fit in well with the Patriots, and he looked pretty good today.
I see people in the chat saying, I see Jabroni laughing. Why are you laughing, Jabroni?
Someone said this was a mirror. This is a photo. This is art. Like, this is a window. But no, I don't have a window that looks like this.
What is that a photo of?
Someone said this was a mirror. I actually am not sure. Do you know what this is, babe? Our roommate, his dad does art. We have a bunch of stuff all around. This is something I should. Oh, this is after a house burnt down or something. It's art. Figure it out. We have a mannequin over here. I don't really quite get it. There's a chick. We have an American's Fair. We have some other photos over here. That one up there. Hold on, if I can see it. The blue one. That's a Matisse.
You definitely have a cat. You definitely have a cat. I could tell from the jungle.
I actually have two cats, Nightwing and Oracle, for my Batman fans. If anyone picks up on that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
I was trying to get the girl to sit next to me, but she was camera shy.
Punt away here for the Rams. Fair catch at about the 29. 5 minutes to go here. Get a couple of first. Well, the Cowboys still have 3 timeouts, plus the 2 minutes, so I don't think they'll be able to run out the clock. But hopefully, they could milk more clock and make them waste some of those timeouts. People thought that they were. I'm not even going to say that, but people thought that.
Yes, that's what had me laughing. That they thought that.
I'm not going to lie.
This was a mirror. Yeah, I get it now. Now that I see it, yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Before I even saw the chat, that's the first thing I thought of too. I was like, "Are they racing to get to the egg?" Like,
this has something to do with a fire, though. I remember the story behind it, but I don't. This is the walls of an apartment that was on fire or something.
There's a run up the middle for 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and 3. Jabroni, you sure that's not jizz, man? Mm-hmm. Oh, God. These guys are too much, man. 4:48 to go here in the fourth quarter.
Oh, this is a big drive. Got to get a couple of first downs here.
Yeah, big drive here. What do you? By the way, we talked about it before we went live. I don't think Antonis was with us. What do you think of these jerseys, Antonis? The Rams' new jerseys.
I hate them.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them either.
I saw the Chargers game as well. Oh my goodness, I don't know what they're doing, man. Whoever designed those jerseys should be sacked.
You don't like the new jerseys,
helmets, though. I think the helmets.
I'd rather wear that painting.
I'm not a fan of the Rams jersey either. I love the helmets. The helmets are clean, like you said, but I'm with you, the jersey. And Giants fans are always talking about wanting to change the jerseys. Be careful what you wish for. Look what the Rams got.
I like our jerseys. I really don't mind our jerseys.
Yeah, I don't mind them either, but there's a lot of Giants fans that are always asking to change them.
I just want to change to like the Giants helmet from the 80s that says Giants on it.
I love that.
That's what I would like.
Yeah,
everything else could stay the same.
Dyer, man, thanks for love. I appreciate it. He says, just got to get a P.O. box before I buy the DJ. All right, he says you got to get a P.O. box before he buys the DJ jersey. Here's a bootleg. All right, that's 5 yards. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Antonis.
No, I was just going to say I'll hit him up on Instagram and we'll sort it out.
Yeah, he'll shoot you. He'll shoot you a shot. My God, he'll give you a message on Instagram. Johnny T says, in your opinion, Antonio Brown aside, what player is the biggest waste of talent over the past 10 years? Whether poor health or always in trouble, either way, can't stay on the field. What's his name? Gordon is definitely up there. Who was the other wide receiver who was on the Jet? Justin Blackman. He was a guy with tremendous ability. He had a ton of, I think it was drug problems. I can't remember. Those are the two names that popped off the top of my head in terms of wasted talent. I'm sure that there's others. Who's some of the guys that you got? Jamarcus Russell,
like Charles Rogers from the Lions. The Lions drafted a receiver like 3 years in a row, I think.
Third overall pick, Rogers.
Yeah, I think Rogers was like in the top 3 or top 2.
2 or 3. Yeah, there's one. There's a good one.
DeAndre Baker.
Yeah, DeAndre Baker's a good one. Yeah, that for the Giants, it is the biggest waste of talent. And there's a good run up the middle for 4. Should be about a 3rd and 2. Nick, man, thanks for the love.
Getting close.
Yeah, Nick says, BBJ, I'll give you a varsity pie for the art. LOL. I don't know.
This is also not my art. It is still his. Varsity Pizza is the pizza place that is literally very close to my house. We live in the same town.
Marcus Mariota is a good one, too. I saw Jimmy say that.
I was about to say, varsity pie doesn't sound like a pizza to me.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to clear that up.
Okay, I was very interested in what that offer was.
Trent Richardson's a good one. Obviously, the running back that the Jaguars Leonard Fournette didn't really live up to that pick is another one. There's so many.
Jamarcus Russell.
You wouldn't expect that, though, because Leonard Fournette really tore college apart. Like, you wouldn't expect him to come to the NFL and not be able to translate that.
Oh, he was phenomenal in college.
Yeah.
He wasn't terrible last year. He just wasn't as good as like a top 5 pick should be.
Short of the sticks, and they're asking the Rams defense to really do a lot of work against this Cowboys offense, and they got a punt here. But I don't like, this is now the 3rd or 4th opportunity that Dak's had to try to tie up this game down a field goal. If he doesn't get it here, you got to be a little underwhelmed if you're the Cowboys going into the year. Everybody thought they were going to have this high-flying offense. They've had plenty of opportunities in this game to put up points.
He did a good job of staying in bounds there. Like at the very end, he just like fell.
Yeah.
But, this is a good spot for a fake punt, actually.
Well,
they love to take it on 4th down. They have who was the old head coach for the 2000 Super Bowl? The Fossil's son is the special teams coordinator.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Fair catch there at the 9-yard line. So they got plenty of time. They got the 2-minute warning. They got 1 timeout. You figure they got to go 45 yards to give themselves a realistic opportunity at a field goal. So they got plenty of time. Rams defense got to do it again. And this is it. You figure the Rams aren't going to be able to get the ball back. They only got 2 timeouts. They got to stop them here, man. I'll tell you, Ramsey's been all over the field. I mean, I haven't been able to watch the whole game, but every time I look up, he's hitting somebody hard.
What do you think of his new contract?
Stayed in bounds.
What did you say?
What do you think of his new contract?
Bad contract. Bad contract. I mean, he's great, but it was bad contract.
Yeah.
Dak, they're hitting him with these slants here. But like you said, though, you kind of take that. They just wasted all the way down to the 2-minute warning. You gave up 12 yards total on 2 plays. You're going to have to button down soon, but you want them wasting that time. So, but yeah, I thought they I don't even know if overpay is the right term, but I just don't think the Rams are in a position to compete for a Super Bowl in the division that they play in. And I just think that if I were them, I'd be looking more towards rebuilding. But the thing is, once they traded for him, what they gave up to get Jalen Ramsey, they kind of put themselves – it's kind of what we did with Leonard Williams. We have not that we've extended him yet. But they gave up a lot more. I think they gave up 2 first-round picks for Ramsey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
you have to commit.
Once you do that, you have to commit. So it was kind of expected, but he still got paid a lot. But some of these contracts, man, Tre'Davious White got a ridiculous out. What do you guys think Barkley's going to get paid per year?
A lot.
He's definitely
20
gonna get
million,
more
5
than-
years, 100 million.
You think 100 million?
100 million, 5 years, 20 million, whatever the exact numbers will be, but those are going to be the base numbers, unfortunately.
Wait,
but
what's Christian McCaffrey on? He's like
I think he's about
17 a year,
16 and a
right?
half, 16 and a half maybe. Yeah, somewhere in there.
I
Yeah,
think
Dan
Barkley will be
Duggan
around the
said
same.
4 years, 70 million. That was his guess.
So that's about 18 or 17 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig right around. I'm going to say between 18 and 20. He's going to get paid a lot. If he stay, of course, it all depends on if he stays healthy this year.
I
But
think he wants to be the first running back to get 100 million.
I agree. He's going to want to reset.
I think
more.
he's gonna fight hard for it. It could get a little ugly. I think he will get his money. Or I think he wants 100 million.
I agree. He's going to get paid.
I think this is a little bit crazy, but just considering that everything's just happened with Mahomes and his contract, could you see the Giants trying to tie him down for 10 years?
Barkley or Jones?
Barkley.
No, because he's a running back. Running
Yeah.
back. Running back, you don't want to commit more than 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Because they break down. Running backs typically break down around 29, 30. Even though I think
Well, I'm
Barkley.
already broken down.
I think Barkley will last a little longer than the average running back just because of his build. Kind of like AP, maybe 31, 32 will still be like top of his game. But yeah, quarterback, maybe. I mean, if they believe in Jones in a year or two, maybe they do give him a longer extension, knowing that the market keeps going up and you get him on, as crazy as the Chiefs contract looks now, in 5 years, they might look smart. So that may be the way they look at it. But with Barkley, yeah, no more than 5 years tops.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. As a Giants fan, even if they do give 20 to 25, which at the end of the day I think is overpaying for a running back, I'll still take it, because if it's between giving him an extra 5 million and having him in our team, or not giving him that 5 million and not having him in our team, I'll take him in our team every day. So
he's going to get. At the end of the day, it's kind of like Leonard Williams. He knows that he's got the power. The Giants have to keep him. And he's the best player at his position in the sport, so he's going to hold out and get his money. There we go. Big sack there by the Rams. That's
big.
That's like a 6-yard loss. It's going to be 3rd and like 12. Minute 32 to go here. That's big. The clock keeps ticking. They only got 1 timeout. Let's go.
That might be the game. That sack. That was huge.
3rd and 13 here at their own 18. Dak takes it, drops back, looks, and he's going to step up. He's going to run with it.
That's not enough.
He fumbled. He was
He's a yard. I think he's a yard short. Or did he fumble?
I think he's a half yard short. And the clock keeps ticking. So we got a 4th and about a half yard here. They can't spike it, obviously.
Timeout.
Well, I'm surprised they're coming out in the shotgun here. I would have figured QB sneak and then you spike it or you call the timeout.
This would be a good time to call a timeout, I would think.
He got it, but you'll take that. Now they're going to have to waste that timeout. But you know what? They're probably going to save the timeout in case they throw a completion over the middle when they get in field goal range.
Yeah.
So they're probably trying to save it here at the 34.
I thought they would have spiked it here, but they got the playoff quick.
Incomplete. 37 seconds, 2nd and 10 at their own 34-yard line. This is it, guys. They still got plenty of time. I mean, they need 30 yards, 25 yards.
The Rams just can't let them get anything on the sideline,
Yeah. Come on. Big play here. They're playing in zone here. They're giving them those 10 yards off the line. What you give up here? You want to milk clock. Oh, they almost sacked him again.
They got to bring him down there.
That's good, though. 3rd and 10. Had to get rid of it. All right. 2 more plays. Come on, guys. Come on. You couldn't ask for a better start to the season if the Cowboys lose this game.
We're going to be in 2nd place.
I mean, obviously, Giants win. Giants win tomorrow. You couldn't have asked for a better Sunday.
And the Eagles looked really bad, which is definitely a good thing.
Yeah. Come on, make a play here, guys. Come on. Why even bother with the play? Oh, God. Bomb. He's got him. Oh, they lost.
Oh, my goodness. You got to be kidding me. This reminds me of when Janoris Jenkins.
Oh. There's a flag.
This reminds me of Jenkins when he gave up that play to Evans last year at the end of the game.
This is coming back. Who's it on? Is it on the cap?
Oh, good.
Yeah, he pulled on his jersey.
How can you get that open?
He pushed off. They called it on Gallup.
It was on Ramsey, I think, right? Yeah.
Wow.
That was the game.
Wow. We caught a break, man.
Yeah, sometimes at the end of the game, they just kind of let him play, but that was a good call. He definitely pushed off. You can see Ramsey did a good job when throwing his hands up.
2 more plays. It's still third down. 3rd and 20 at the 24 with only 1 timeout. They're probably going to try to get 15 yards over the middle here, call the timeout. We'll see. Dak flushed out of the pocket. Incomplete. Last play coming up. 4th and 20.
They still have that timeout.
Yeah, but they don't get 20 yards here. The game's over.
That was a huge pass interference call because I've seen like more than that not get called.
You know the Cowboys fans
he-
going to be
He
was the right
extended
call.
the arm. As soon as the wide receiver extends that arm, they usually give it.
Yeah.
Plus, before that, you saw that he had his hand. You see how his jersey was ripped? He ripped his jersey. He had his hand on the blue. He was pulling on it.
That's what gave it away for the ref, I bet.
Yeah. Come on. Timeout. Good timeout there by the Rams. Talk it over. I like it.
Yeah.
So, guys, one more play. Both of our biggest rivals start off 0-1, and the Giants got an opportunity to be tied with the Skins after 1 week with the Bears on deck.
The Eagles are a mess right now with their offensive line situation.
And the Cowboys look underwhelming tonight, man. The offense put up 17 points. Good stuff so far. Chris Gonzalez says, wasn't a foul. Cowgirl fans going to be mad. Oh, of course they're going to be mad. Of course they're going to be mad. Horrible call, but I don't care if it's a horrible call or not, Kenny. I just want them to lose. I don't care.
I don't think it was a bad call.
I honestly don't, though. If you look back at the replay, he grabbed his jersey before that part. You saw him stretching the blue on the underneath his jersey. Here we go. Dak coming out in the gun from the 24, 4th and 20, takes it, drops back, tries to buy time, flushed out of the pocket, throws, incomplete. Game over. Rams win.
That's great. That's a great win.
Big start to the football season for the New York Giants. The 2 biggest rivals go down. They start 0-1, and they didn't play like the most challenging teams, which is even more encouraging because the Cowboys still got to play, much tougher teams on their schedule. They lose to teams that, if you were a fan of the Eagles and Cowboys, you probably had these penciled as wins going into the year. So nice win here by the Rams, helping out the New York Giants tonight.
So even if we lose tomorrow, we're only a game out of first place against the Redskins, so you have to like the position we're in after the first day.
Yeah, I am thrilled, guys. I'm let's just make sure that he gets the snap, kneels, and there it is. Rams win.
Right.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. And then we got a big game coming up tomorrow night, man. I'm excited, man. That is great news. Now we get to go to bed happy as New York Giant fans, and I kind of saw this coming.
I'm
I really
more excited somehow.
And they had a couple of injuries too. Not that you root for injuries, but they had Jarwin too, right? If I'm not, I don't know if he came back in the game, but Jarwin at one point looked like he got hurt too. But yeah, tough injuries there for the Dallas
AD had
Cowboys.
a game today.
Who did?
Prescott was
AD.
underwhelming.
Oh yeah, did he?
Ramsey played amazing this whole game.
Yeah, I saw him make several big hits every time I was looking up.
Yeah, especially towards the end, he's making a lot of big plays.
Jarwin out for the year, the ACL.
Jarwin out for
No.
the year.
Wow.
Seriously.
This is his first chance to be the number 1 tight end because last year Witten came back and he thought that was his job.
Wow.
Witten's still healthy though.
Yeah, he's on the Las Vegas Raiders.
I forgot that he's still playing. I forgot him. I forgot that.
Yeah.
Witten. Yeah. So Jarwin's out for the year and a collarbone to Van Der Esch. So
He sounds like he's gonna be out for a while.
Yeah, he had neck issues, I think, last year. So that's I remember David Wilson had the neck kind of stuff, and that kept him out. So
I'll tell you what, if you're a Skins fan right now, you're excited, man. You're like, we already got our win. We've got a division win. The Eagles lose. The Cowboys lose. Wow. Just how 1 week changes everything in the NFL, man.
And Haskins didn't look terrible either. Like, he wasn't great, but he made enough plays to win. Like, if they have a good defense, he's not going to have to carry that team. So
crazy stuff, guys. Crazy stuff. No excuses for tomorrow, man. You'll say that's right, man. We got to get a win. Monday night, we got to get a win. And I'm
Hey, that man. Hey, that man, Dak.
By the way, both of these gentlemen, David and Big Blue Jabroni, they've been on my channel before. You guys probably know, but they both have YouTube channels. Make sure you check out Giants Alliance. It's in the parentheses there. And Big Blue Jabroni is the name of Big Blue Jabroni's channel. Please check. They'll be back on the channel. We'll talk Giants throughout the season for sure. And Tonis has been awesome. Tonis is the freaking man. And whenever I get Tonis back on the channel, I want to. Absolutely. Dyer, man, thanks so much for love. I appreciate it. He says, man, I'm feeling good. Let's go, G-Men. Can't wait to hear the radio. No doubt the delusion will say we lose. The same voice says they're going 13-3. Dyer, man, you know what? Enjoy it right now. Let's go out tomorrow night. Let's get a win. And we get to 1-0. We got the Bears on deck. And if we could ever beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, I think Giant fans are going to be much more optimistic about this year based on the performances of both the Cowboys and the Eagles and some of the injuries that they sustained, whether it was before this week with the Eagles or in the game with the Dallas Cowboys. So you never know, man. That's the game of football, man. You get a couple of bounces to go your way. You catch a team on the right week. Some of the teams in your division suffer injuries. Everything could change. It's a game where it's the next man up. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. We'll see what the New York Giants got coming out. We're going to close this out because I know where Antonis is. It's like 4 a.m. And 420. Smoke them if you got them. And David and Big Blue, I'm sure want to enjoy the games tomorrow. And he's got his cat. What's the name of the cat again?
This one's Nightwing. Oracle's actually he saw Oracle. He's gone.
But guys, I just want to CD man, thanks so much for love. Even if the Giants lose tomorrow, we are still tied for second place in our division. Let's go, man. Still hoping for of course. I mean, we need that W tomorrow. We want to start out right. We haven't won opening night in a really long time. I don't even know. I think 2016, I think we won opening night. But outside of that, we haven't won opening night in a really long time. Yeah, that was the game where Terrence Williams couldn't get out of bounds when we played the Cowboys opening night.
Forgot about that.
But it's been a long time, since we usually don't win on opening night. So hopefully we get a win tomorrow night. We start the season off on the right foot. We got some help today. And we'll see where it takes us, man. I always like to let my guests close it out. We'll start with Big Blue Jabroni, and we'll go around. Go ahead, Big Blue.
Oracle's going to actually make a last-second appearance on the show. They are twins, and that's her butt. I have a brand new YouTube channel. I'm at 99 subscribers. Whoever wants to be my 100th subscriber, move on over and hit the subscribe button. Thanks again for having me on. And my final prediction for tomorrow, 24-17 Giants.
Love it. Love the optimism, my man. David, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I actually have the same score as you, Big Blue Jabroni, 24-17 Giants. Yeah, definitely check out my YouTube channel. I also have a website. It's called nygiantsalliance.com. And I write an article almost every day on there. So definitely check it out. I have a big board for the 2021 draft because I love the draft. So thank you so much for having me on. I love coming on this show. It's so much fun. And I'm a big fan of the show too. So I appreciate it, man.
No, man, you kidding me, man? It's a pleasure, man. You're a really knowledgeable guy. You're a great guy. The first time I had you on my channel, I had an absolute blast. And anytime I get you back on, I want to. And let me just read these real quick, and then we'll get to Antonis Dyer. Man, thanks again, man, for all the love, man. He says representation from across the pond. That's right, man. Antonis, he's one of our UK fans. And Blue Collar, thank you very much, man. He says, now let's hope Jerry Jones says something stupid in the postgame to ruin their season week 1. That's a good point. I'll be listening after the stream to hear what Jerry Jones has to say. I'm sure he's not going to be happy. You know Jerry Jones doesn't keep his lips sealed for sure. So we'll listen for that. But thank you guys so much for the love, man. And thank you to everybody that popped in the stream that hung out all night. We had over 350 people pretty much throughout the whole night. You guys are freaking awesome. And I know tomorrow we're going to blow up the stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys come by. We drink some beers together and we get to celebrate a win. But Antonis, say what you got to say, my man.
Stand up. Nah, man, nothing but love. Thank you so much for having me on the show again. I don't know why, because I'm usually like half asleep when we do these. As you can tell, my eyes are closing by the second. But yeah, man, I enjoy this so much. Thank you as well for giving us this content, man, giving us something to look forward to and separating our work lives with our casual lives as well. So God bless everyone, and hope everybody enjoys the game tomorrow.
Yeah, man, it's an absolute pleasure, man. Listen, man, the amount of I guess dedication you exert to come on these streams, it blows me away. So I couldn't, of course I'm gonna have you on whenever I can, man. I appreciate everything you do for my channel. Watch all my streams, and thank you for coming on, and thank you to everybody for being here. And I'm looking forward to getting to talk to all you guys tomorrow. And hopefully we get to celebrate together as Giants fans. We won't be able to go to the games this year, but hopefully we can celebrate virtually with a New York Giants victory. But thank you to everybody for being here. Really appreciate it. And again, thank you to the panel. Thank you to all these guys for being here. You guys are phenomenal. We'll see you tomorrow. Off to a great start. We're going to get a win tomorrow night. I just said it. I just changed my prediction. I'm going optimistic. The New York Giants are going to get a 3-point win. I just changed it. We're 1-0 to start the year. Thank you guys for being here. Have a great night. We'll talk soon. Have a great night, guys.